Yo, what's going on, faithfuls? And we're live on all major platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. And of course, we're back with a fun-filled episode of the Faithful Empire that's powered by the Red and Gold 24/7 podcast. All right. So, of course, my guys like always do. Of course, I'm your boy Ryan. And of course, I got Nick Hicksman with me on the panel. Everybody wants to be like Mike, Money Mav, and Coach Ron. What's wrong, fellas? What's going on?
What up?
So what's up?
Hey guys.
What's going on?
Yep. Here's some plugs. Of course, you catch Mav on the convo with Matt and Cato at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays on YouTube. All right. And of course, you catch Coach Ron on That Night of Life on 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays on YouTube. All right. All right. Of course, I'll do the other ones later on, I guess, sometime later on. So, yeah, guys, not much things going on right now, but I know we just got done. They just got done doing mini camp. Yeah, mini camp. Rookies mini camp. I tell you, the pictures look good. The pictures look real good. They do. And of course, Danny Gray, they say he's shining. That's what they said. So, but he's wearing number 86. Now I don't know who was 86 before, but I hope he fills it out real nicely with that number. So, yeah. So if you guys want to do the Mount Rushmore, I know we were talking about that before. We will pick out, I guess you guys are talking about coaches and players of the history of the 49ers. Pick out any kind of player or coach and make up your own, I guess, four heads of Mount Rushmore of the 49ers.
Well, the Mount Rushmore I was talking about was not just 49ers when it came to coaches. It came to the whole NFL.
Okay.
Because it'll be a lot easier. It'll be a lot easier to just go out and pick 4 NFL coaches, but what's hard about it is actually who are the top 4 in history. Period.
Yeah. I got you.
You know.
I got you. So whoever wants to go first until the rest of the people are be joining in, I'll bring them in as soon as they come in here. I'll bring them in nicely.
Just a quick note, you know what shoes...
Since we've all been talking about it through the text.
The shoes of 87 for a grade of Phil's, Dwight Clark.
Good old 87.
No, he said 86 though.
Oh, he said 86. Oh, never mind. Wrong number.
Yeah. I think it's be honest, if we're going to go through coaching
through the text message. Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry, go on. I was going to say, I think we can all agree Bill Walsh is going to be there for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
We're down to 3 spots already, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Our first comment. What's up, Carcast? What's up?
Yo, what up?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey,
we're doing fine, man. We're doing great. Thank you for asking, man. So
I mean, Packer fans are going to argue Lombardi all day. Not even close, bro.
What's up, Paul?
I mean, I would argue Lombardi too, for the simple fact that just the history of what I heard and learned from his football life. I mean, the man was a hell of a coach, dude. The Redskins would have been right there with the Packers had he not passed away so soon. So that's why he's on my 4th.
So why not your second then?
I mean, I never say he wasn't in my second. I just say he's on my 4. I mean, he's right
I mean,
there,
but if
right
you're gonna
behind,
so
right
if you're
behind
gonna
Walsh.
argue Lombardi and Walsh, then like wouldn't that be 1 and 2, not fourth? Like how you gonna put two people ahead of
No,
him?
no. That's one. That's 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2. I mean, I still got
Oh, I
two
thought you
more.
said he's
I
your
mean, that
fourth on the list.
no. I just said he's on my 4. He's like as in one of my 4.
Got it. So like Lombardi and Walsh, then like you think it's close?
Honestly, Lombardi would be 1. Honestly,
Okay. Why?
You
'Cause
take
you-
the fandom out. You take the fandom out of it. Lombardi probably over Walsh.
Right. So that's why
Yeah.
I bring it up. We all
I
just
mean, dude,
like we all basically just said it's not even close, and now we're flip flopping. So I'm interested to hear why. We all just nodded and said Bill Walsh is number 1. Let's just move to number 2. Now we're arguing that Lombardi's number 1 because we're not biased. I'm trying to figure out which one it is.
We said Walsh was on there. Did we?
Yeah,
did
Walsh
anyone
is
say-
one of the spots. Is what I
No,
said.
we
We
said
all
Walsh
agree.
is 1.
We
We
all
said
agree.
Walsh, and then let's just move on to 2. So now we're
I
saying,
think-
well, if we're not 49ers fans, then maybe Walsh isn't. So, I mean, is this a biased list or is this an unbiased list?
Oh no!
I
I
think-
mean, my number 1 is Belichick. Belichick's number 1 for me.
Whenever you bring up a Mount Rushmore, I don't think you're ever ranking them 1 to 4. They're all kind of like on the same level.
yeah, they're there. That's just who they are.
Okay,
I mean,
so let's
hell,
talk about
I
it.
could even throw matter of fact, I will throw Shula on my list. Only
Yes,
coach
I
to
think
ever
he's got to
win
be.
undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's
And
got
the-
to be
and
for
look
that
at-
alone.
He has to. I mean, not even for that alone. Look at how the Dolphins were with Marino and the Mark brothers under Shula. When he left, Jimmy Johnson took over, and it just like you seen it. That was the decline of the Dolphins right there, Jimmy Johnson era. I'm sorry.
Doesn't he have the most wins as a coach in the NFL, or did Belichick recently surpass that?
I believe Belichick surpassed that. Might have. I'm not sure. Don't quote
Maybe,
me.
maybe within the last year or two, but yeah, I mean, he held that for a long time. He's got to be on there.
I mean, stats wise, Belichick, yes, but because of all the scandals, I can't put him on my Mount Rushmore.
I won't. Not even because of the scandals for me. Is because he had Brady for 20 plus years. So I mean, I'm not even gonna put him on that because look at all these other coaches. They probably had their quarterback for like what 5, maybe 6.
That's true. They've all had to innovate with different teams, and Belichick had his guy, and now you see him without his guy, and he's struggling.
Exactly. So I mean, is he really? He's a genius now. He's a hell of a mind of defensive, offensive minded coach. He could put a team together. I'm gonna keep it honest, but he has to have that one guy. I mean, we all see it. He's got to have a Brady of some sort on his team in order for him to move like he wants to. I mean, you look at Kyle Shanahan, he struggled like crazy with all these different quarterbacks, but he was still successful in areas that he needed to be successful in.
So real quick, number 1 is Don Shula with 328 wins. Number 2 is George Halas with 318 wins.
How about him?
290 wins for Bill Belichick at 3. And then Tom Landry has 250 wins. So those are your top 4 winningest coaches of all time.
Okay, so he didn't surpass.
So
if you look
would
at the
they-
same logic of the amount of quarterbacks you've had, I mean, Bill Walsh pretty much only had Joe Montana.
Yeah, but how long?
For a long time.
Not as long as Belichick had Brady. I mean,
No.
I believe Belichick had Brady the longest out of any other coach who's been with a quarterback.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's because no other quarterback's really gone on as long as Brady has at a top level, though.
That's true. Now, if we cap it in the first 10 years, though, that's a different conversation we're having. A coach and quarterback duel for like their first 10 years, that's a different conversation.
I know. I mean, Belichick reinvented the Patriots on several times. Oh, yes, he had his quarterback, but he had to keep revamping the defense, revamping the offense.
I mean, they didn't really revamp that much though. They're like the only team that always had their core players intact, regardless.
So you're not giving them credit for that?
I mean, I'm giving him credit for that, but he's not going on that Mount Rushmore.
Like, if you have a car that's running for 500,000 miles as the owner, you don't get credit for it running 500,000 miles?
I mean, yeah, because I'm taking care of my car.
Exactly. So,
but we're talking about a coach that had one player. That's my only argument with it. It's just the length of time that he spent with Brady. It's for me. It's now I'm starting to really judge Bill Belichick on how good of a coach he really is.
Well, he drafted Brady in the 6th round after nobody did. We're not going to give him credit for that. Like, if you have a Tom Brady on your team, you're not going to ride him till the wheels fall off?
Of course. But, I mean, I'm looking at all these other coaches, dude, that didn't have their quarterback for 20-plus years.
That's their fault. That's their inability to pick a quarterback, though. That shouldn't count.
But what I'm saying is what they were able to do with these different quarterbacks over time and still be successful versus one guy who's had one player his whole entire career and you know he's going to be successful.
Well, that's part of the equation, though. Like, how you got there should be part of the equation. Like, if another guy drafted 3 greats, let's just say like the 49ers, or let's just give 3 good quarterbacks to one coach, and the amount of wins is still equal to Bill Belichick, who only had one guy. I mean, that's part of the equation. That's part of the grade. So the one thing I'll say about Belichick is I agree with Mike on that. The controversies for me are too hard to overlook. When it comes to the controversies, I'm looking more at Belichick versus Brady. Now, some will argue with that. Mike is going to argue that, obviously.
No. I'll agree with that. I mean, Brady had his part of it, but I do think it falls more on Belichick.
I think Belichick was innovative, but he was always trying to circumvent. Like, Belichick is a master.
He was breaking the rules,
finding the loopholes, and sometimes he was a little bit too ahead of it to where he was like violating rules. Rules had to be implemented for Belichick.
You trying to be too nice, man. Just say he was breaking the freaking rules. He trying to find loopholes.
He was. I mean,
okay, he was a cheater then.
He did them, though. He found them, bro. He broke them. Hey, that was a loophole right there. I could surpass this rule. But then when he get caught up on it, guess what? It's a big thing about it. We didn't know about it. Now we have to sit there and trying to figure out what that loophole really was. I mean, it's a freaking headache trying to grade Belichick, bro.
Well, technically, you can't break a rule if it's not a rule yet. So
that's so true.
I mean, you know, if we're gonna like legally speak here, he broke a law before it was a law. So, and then they created the law. So you got to give him the credit for that. That doesn't mean he's not held in a public court of opinion, because technically, like, that's why there's a rule in place. Wait, that's kind of cheating. Like, you can't do that. We're gonna next year going forward, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen again. So that's where I would be like, okay. Belichick kind of has a little bit of cloud over me for it. So, yeah.
Did anyone ever watch Dark Side of Football?
Mm-mm.
Who?
No. There was a series that kind of looked at the underbelly of football, and there was an entire episode devoted to the shadiness of Belichick.
Wow.
And it was
probably a lot.
There was a lot. I mean, you go back to the crap he pulled with the Jets on getting hired to be their coach, and then it's all just. He's a shady guy. I'm sorry, and I can't put someone with that bad of judgment on my Mount Rushmore. He's not.
Yeah, but you're also assuming that didn't go on back in the day as well. It's just that it's now it's far more visible now because we have social media, we have televisions and everything.
Right.
It's a lot more visible. That stuff has been going on since the invention of sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true.
Go back to Greek times.
But it's like with him, it's like every couple of years, something else happens. Something else. This constant.
So I'm guessing we all in agreement, regardless of what we feel about Belichick, that cloud is the reason why he's not there, right?
Yeah. Dude, I mean,
For
you
me.
can't be recording other teams' practices, bro. Like, that's just as bad as it gets. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's to me is like red flag, like elimination. You're disqualified right there.
And it's
That's
like he doesn't learn from it. He does it, and
flat
then a
out
couple years
cheating,
later,
bro.
He does it. He does it again. Every couple years, he gets caught doing it. It's like when's enough?
Now it really got me wondering, like, what all has he gotten away with?
Oh,
Like,
100%. This is
that's
this
a good
is the
question.
stuff that's been caught.
We know about. This is what we know about. What don't we know about? Like Nick said,
because you think
nobody's lily white, guys. Let's be honest. Every single coach is doing one thing or another in the league. They're all trying to get an edge. Every single front office is doing something they shouldn't be. That's why they had to invent the legal tampering period. You know, they're all at something at some point during the season. So,
well, then that also shows that he should be on the Mount Rushmore because he keeps getting caught. These other coaches are good enough to not get caught.
I think so. I think that's why I would argue that Bill Walsh is probably tops for me, even though we don't want to rank these guys, because the coaching position is probably that one position where like evolution can work either in or against you. Because like I'm gonna give Lombardi credit. He was a pioneer. He was like the first. But then as other people started catching on, then there were other greats. When Bill Walsh came in, he basically just came in and like changed the game completely.
Yeah, so he invented the West Coast offense.
He did, exactly. So
there aren't many coaches that can say they invented an entire offense.
Right. So like when Lombardi was coaching, they were running wishbone. They were barely even passing. They were running all that like 2 yards in a cloud of dust football, which I mean is, hey, he was the first to do it. But then Bill Walsh came in and was like, no, I'm going to take your system and I'm going to freaking, I'm going to, whatever I'm trying to say here, expand it. I'm going to times 4 it, like Elon Musk and shit. I'm going to take this rocket and I'm going to make it 1,000,000 times better. That's why I'm just like, when Bill Walsh came in, we already had seen Landry. We had seen John Madden. We had George Hallis or whatever his name is. All these guys had already had time in the league. Then he comes in and he completely revolutionizes the game. Like he came in and was just like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it 1,000,000 times better. So that's why I kind of give the edge to Bill Walsh versus Lombardi. That's my argument for it, because like he came in and there was already established legends and there was already a Don Shula and he just completely changed the name of the game. It was like he took 2 yards in the cloud of dust football to like the West to the game we actually see today.
I think my respect for Lombardi is more so he was a teacher than a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my respect comes in at for him being the top. I mean, you right, Bill Walsh reinvented the whole system. He invented a whole playbook specifically to that where the NFL now using to this day. We get that. That was an innovator, but he had to get that from somewhere. He got it from the teacher. And I really believe that he followed Lombardi to a T, because if you look at his game and you go back and watch how Lombardi is coaching on the sideline and what he's doing in the film room with his players, that was Bill Walsh. So, I mean, the credit has to be given and has to be placed on top. To me personally, that's why Lombardi's one, Walsh is two. I mean, I'm always gonna respect what Bill Walsh has done, but he learned it from somewhere, and
yeah, there was already a blueprint in place. I agree.
Yeah,
right.
When it comes to innovating, I'm gonna throw a name out there: Paul Brown.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that.
Okay. He's the first. He's a practice squad. He's the first to hire a staff of assistant coaches. He created the draw play. He helped found two franchises.
Two teams.
Yeah.
And one of them is named after him. So I mean, yeah.
I mean, hell, even the Bengal Stadium is still Paul Brown Stadium as well.
Yep.
Exactly. So it's a lot of respect there for a lot of different coaches, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going that route, then again, that's a whole nother conversation for which coach did it best or who changed the game. So I mean, so who are we going with Shula at third, or
actually,
is he?
that was a good point. Changing the game. Do you think Belichick changed the game?
No.
Did he innovate anything to change the game, or did he just get a lot of wins?
He changed the game by having a lot of rules rewritten and new rules added. Yeah, so yes, he changed the game.
He changed the game substantially in that way. Yeah.
Exactly. He changed the game to benefit the Patriots every time they hit that field every Sunday. So yes, he changed the game.
Now,
he gave the rules committee nightmares.
In conversation, someone brought up Madden. Do you think Madden deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore?
Oh God. I mean, why? Because he's
not going to be on mine.
Yeah, no, not mine either. But do you think he contributed enough to get there?
No, he's he's my favorite coach of all time, but he's not one of the greatest. That's two different things.
Yeah,
I don't know much about Madden besides his game. Honestly, that's it.
I just love him as a person. I love John.
I just know.
I don't even care if he freaking sucks or not. I just love the guy. He's one of my favorites.
I love him as a broadcaster.
That's a complete biased opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it though, Ryan. That's how most of us on this panel remembers John Madden.
Yeah, remember him.
Video games and a broadcaster.
Yeah,
and he won a Super Bowl. What? Super Bowl after coaching how long?
So, side question though, maybe not the Mount Rushmore of coaching, but Mount Rushmore of contributions to the sport of the NFL as a whole. Would Madden belong on that? From his coaching to his commentary to the creation of a video game that has introduced generations to the sport.
Without Madden, chances are I'm not a Niners fan.
Yeah.
That's true. So, yeah, if we're going that route, he's top. He's number one. No questions asked. No one's going to top that. He is the Michael Jordan in that area.
Yeah. Because he's got the trifecta. He's coaching, commentary, and social impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, marketing. The guy was a front man for so many products back in the day.
I'm like this here. If you an individual could pay someone else to promote you are your own brand. So that's John Madden all day. He like I say, he's the Jordan when it comes to that.
He's a brand. Tough acting to act in.
You can't really say no one else in the NFL right now. You can't name no one else in the NFL that's their own brand like John Madden right now.
No,
at all.
No.
Not right now, no. I think Dick Butkus could probably give a run for his money.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That man was on TV a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, you got his steakhouses and but he had a lot of various products going on, did Butkus, didn't he?
Okay.
Probably Terry Bradshaw. I'd say it's probably Terry Bradshaw as well.
That can be an argument.
I don't know if they're close to Madden though. Like I mean, Madden,
they still don't.
The turkey on Thanksgiving Day, like he kind of like blew up Thanksgiving Day football for us.
The turducken,
like all the freaking on the screen, all the drawings.
You get it like that. You rip it up.
Yeah.
The purpose of the stitches on the foot. And then, like, I mean, when he would like highlight Larry Allen's sweaty ass on the screen, like.
Hold on.
Marking up the screen and showing everyone what's going on, like that was.
Remember the replacement. Remember the replacement. Y'all don't remember that?
Yeah.
Y'all don't remember that scene?
I don't.
When Madden was on the scene. He's doing the whole little screen, and he goes boom, boom. He goes here. It did. I can't remember what for, but he was there, dude. I mean, that was like the highlight of that movie. John Madden being in that movie doing that. You need to watch it if you hadn't seen it,
bro. Like,
movie?
The
replacement.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nobody gave us insights like Madden. Like he told us why footballs had stitches. Like how many Gatorade packages were in the Gatorade coolers. You know what I mean? Like he was just so colorful, man. Like
Hey, content creator right there.
Right there, number one, bro.
Yeah.
He dumbed it down so everyone can enjoy and understand the sport. He made it fun.
Yeah. He made being a lineman
Yeah.
fun. And then like the when a lineman like picked up a fumble and ran for it, like I just remember Madden calling those plays. Like,
dude, the more and more we talk about John Madden right now, it's like we're making a case for why he's not on the damn list. Like he should be on that list right now. Like you think about it, we're making the case for him to be on there. So I mean, like, damn.
Controlling the narrative right now.
Right. I'm even like, hold up, maybe Lombardi is the greatest, to be honest with you, with all this lobbying you guys are doing for the guy. I'm like, maybe he is number one, bro. Like,
you think about it, bro. All these coaches came from somewhere. We talk about coaching trees all day long. You know, I might not have been part of your coaching staff.
At the time, wasn't he the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl?
Lombardi?
Yeah, he was. No,
Madden.
Oh, Madden, yeah.
He was.
Yeah. So
I mean, like, dude, there's a lot. I mean, can he just be put aside on the pile right now? Like,
honorable mention.
What? Not yet. Not yet.
Madden gets an honorable mention.
What do we have? Still 2 slots left or 3?
Who do we have as one? Lombardi, and then
we got Lombardi,
we got Walsh.
I think
I'm mentioning Shula.
You've got to put Shula in there. All those wins and an unbeaten season, something that no other man has ever achieved.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put him in there, and then I'm going to end mine with Paul Brown. There's my 4.
And the fact that when he left the Dolphins, you can see Marino struggle. You can see everything crumble. Like he was the glue that held that team together.
See, that's another good reason against Belichick. Brady left and thrived on his own, and Belichick struggled without Brady.
I don't think he struggled that badly. I mean, he managed to win that game where I can't remember his name now. It doesn't matter. He's going to be a bust. Mac Jones. Mac Jones threw 3 times. He still won the game.
Mac Jones is going to be trash.
I think time will tell. But here's what's interesting, though. Like, I've looked at about 5 or 6, even 7 lists right now as we've been talking. Not one of them has Bill Walsh in the top 5. Not one.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe we got Walsh in there because we are 49er fans. Because I mean, I've seen some of them lists too, bro, and I'm like, damn. But then it goes back to some of the argument that I've been making about Belichick with him and Brady for 20 years. I mean, I think a lot of people are looking at that too, like quarterback.
Bleacher Report's got Bill Walsh number 1.
Oh, nice.
That's the one that matters. Then that's the one that matters.
We'll go with that.
Bill Walsh. They got Walsh.
All about the source.
George Hollis and Don Shula. That's their 4.
Does it have a description as to why Bill Walsh is the top?
Yeah, let me read through it really quick here. Going over record. 6 division titles, 3 NFC championships. Popularized the West Coast offense. 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, elected to the Hall of Fame. And then they go a little bit into his coaching tree.
That might be that might be the main reason right there. That coaching tree. How many coaches he's been successful under him?
That's also another argument against Belichick. His guys leave and they don't do well with other teams.
They don't. Except for right now, who is that over there with the Titans?
Vrabel,
but Vrabel never coached. He didn't coach. He was just a player.
Yeah.
A mean player.
Then you could also say that Belichick managed to all the backups. He managed to get some decent trade picks out of them, getting rid of them. They all turned out to be rubbish in the end. Matt Castle, Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett. They all turned out shite. But he still got a decent wedge back for them.
So then you just made an argument for me, what I've always said about Belichick. You know, I don't trust no Patriot players coming from the Patriots because they work in a system. That system works for them because when you look at it, they go anywhere else, they're not successful or they're not as successful as they would be as a Patriot. because of a system.
That can't be a
Belichick
slight
system.
on Bill Belichick, though. That's got to be a slight on the other coaches not being able to use that player to their full potential.
Well, I mean, think about it. Every other coach that came from the Patriots, they go coach somewhere else. They still trying to implement that same exact system, and they fail. They fail because they don't have the players they need to run that system like Belichick. So
this is why I don't think
after
the Raiders are going to do this well this year.
That's I was about to bring that up. How are the Raiders going to do this year? Because that's coming from the Belichick tree.
You know,
it's not
his
from their
second
coaching,
chance.
though. I guarantee that. I guarantee that it's not going to be from Josh.
It's Josh's second chance. He's already failed once. I think he'll fail again.
I think he's going to let Carr handle the whole stuff of it anyways.
Well, that's going to be a mistake. I don't see it in Carr.
I think that's why he went and got Devontae for that reason, because he don't. I mean, that if it works, it works.
I don't know that we can spend too much time arguing about Bill Belichick's coaching tree. It's terrible.
It's trash. It's like complete trash.
Sitting here trying to argue against it and trying to defend it. It's a waste of time. It's terrible.
It's hard. It's hard to not mention his tree when you're talking about coaching trees. It's hard not to.
If you're trying to make a debate as to why he's not a good coach, I mean, I can see why you would bring that up.
Yeah.
Like, look at Bill Walsh,
but I think
Sam White, George Seifert, Denny Green, Mike Holmgren. Mike Holmgren alone is better than all those guys. Ray Rhodes, Mike White.
I mean, even current history.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the success that all his coaches have had going elsewhere.
What, so far 2, right?
Salah, Salah, he's out there. McDaniels is out there.
Salah, McDaniels, LaFleur. You could even put an argument that McVay is under there as well.
McVay's under that tree.
Well, McVay he didn't come from under him.
Well, no, I wouldn't count because they were just assistants together.
They were,
and they were on the opposite side of the football. Like Shanahan was the offensive coordinator in Washington, and McVay was a defensive back.
McVay was defense.
Yeah. So I thought he was on the offensive side. That's why. Okay.
No,
so that's why. I mean,
McDaniels have been with Shanahan his whole career since college.
Yeah. Since Yale.
Yeah.
I may think McDaniels is the brain of the whole operation, to be honest with you. That's why I'm interested to see this year. But
we'll see who succeeds and who doesn't.
I don't think he's going to be a good head coach.
I don't think so.
I say when it comes to the running game.
Well, he's got the players. I know he hasn't got the quarterback, but he's got some rather incredible players to go with for his first year as a head coach.
So I think Miami's still 1 year out from being true contenders. They'll go get their quarterback next year.
Yeah. They need the quarterback. I think at that point, then we can start judging him.
I believe their quarterback is already in the league.
Could be. His name's Jimmy G.
TJ.
How much longer they stick with Tua?
What's up, fellas?
This is it.
1 year.
This is Tua's last year.
He's been in the league, 2-3 years?
This would have been Tua. Listen, this would have been Tua's last year in Miami this year. I'm going to tell you, McDaniels didn't want to go in there and just start just flipping tables. So he did exactly what he should have did, been professional. Hey, look, kid, I'm going to ride with you 1 year. I'm not going to tell you it's 1 year, but I'm going to ride with you. But if you can't do it this year, guess what? I'm already shopping. He's already got his eyes on like at least 3 quarterbacks for next year, bro. I promise you. If not, and one of them is already in the league. I believe the starting quarterback for the Dolphins is in the league already.
Who do you think it is? If you had to put money on it right now.
If I had to put money on it right now, gee, it's hard to really tell. I mean, I could see Aaron. You know what? If Miami has the money, I could see Aaron Rodgers going down to the South Beach. if they're like mediocre with the cash, I could really see them taking a swing on Carson Wentz just to bring him down there.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what
know
will
why.
kill McDaniel's career before it even
He is
starts.
not. He is not the franchise quarterback for that
He's
team.
not going to take.
He's not. No, not saying he's the franchise. Not saying he's the franchise, but I mean, as far as like bringing someone else, just for some draft picks. Because
what about Tannehill?
Go ahead. Tannehill coming back now.
I don't think he'd go back just because of the ownership and the way he was treated by them.
Yeah. True.
But they might even give Mayfield a shot. Who knows?
No.
Hell no, man.
Mayfield's cooked.
The purpose is to get a better quarterback, not a worse quarterback.
Not downgrade.
You're right. You're right. But listen though. I mean, if you're gonna draft a quarterback, if you're gonna draft a quarterback anyways, and I mean Tua still has some kind of value because he's probably this is last rookie on the rookie contract.
I think it's his third year, isn't it? In the
this is 3.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
this is gonna be.
Was he? And he was a first rounder, so he has a fifth round option.
Mm-hmm.
They're not picking that up unless he plays lights out.
You know, I really like Miami's approach to this season and with Tua, because I mean it's the same approach that the Eagles have with Hurts, and I mean we're not giving you any excuses. We're building a great team around you. We're giving you all the weapons you could possibly want, and prove it. And then I think it leaves no stone unturned if he doesn't produce. Then they know for a fact, hey, this isn't our guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like what they did there, but man, I'm just not a Tua fan. I didn't see it when he played in Alabama, and I definitely don't see it in Miami. Hurts too.
Yeah,
I mean, I love what Philly's done, but I just don't think that's the right guy.
Bama quarterback.
Do you think Miami could get?
Hold on now, because I mean Bryce Young maybe. I mean, so yeah, I was about to make that argument. So I don't know that the quarterback for the Dolphins is in the league, because if I'm McDaniel, it all depends on how it's going to go down. But like Bryce Young's out there. I get he's an Alabama quarterback. But I mean, Bryce Young is out there. CJ Stroud's out there in the draft next year. So these are two guys I would want to bring in, or at least look at over Baker Mayfield and Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is. That's not it.
Reason why I'm mentioning somebody like Wentz is because he'll be cheap to bridge. Because I mean, Tua, if I don't know if you want to ride with Tua and have his backup just sitting here and get rid of him on his 5th year when you can just get something back for him now. And you draft someone like CJ Stroud or something, you can either ride with him or you bring someone else for like just a year or so. And that's why, I mean, I'm looking at that angle as well. That's why I mentioned Wentz, because Wentz is going to be in the league for a little while longer, whether we like it or not. And he's going to be that bridge quarterback for most teams.
With the talent on that roster, do you want to waste time with the bridge quarterback, or do you want to go get your quarterback now?
I wouldn't want to waste it. I would want to go and get my quarterback now. But I mean, you look at who's coaching Miami. You look at where he came from, and you look at and Trey Lance goes out and ball out and lights out. I think that's a blueprint the rest of the NFL is going to get back to. Taking them, stashing them, get them ready for next year.
Okay, you know, so like go ahead, TJ. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, you know what? Where I think it's tough though is I think Miami's got a good roster. So, I mean, I think they'll easily be at 500. I think that's kind of their floor, like 8-9, 9-8, because that's a damn good roster. So that's going to make acquiring that rookie quarterback that much harder, because you're sitting there in the teens in the middle of the draft. So how do you maneuver into that top 5 to snag that quarterback.
But they
Don't
still got decent number of number one picks next year, don't they? They could always trade up for it.
They've still got a ton of picks from that trade to I can't remember his name now. It's the guy to Houston, the left tackle.
I think though, are they still
Tunsil?
having picks from that?
They've still got them because they on a couple of them they traded back for more picks again. Like the amount of picks they've ended up getting out of that is obscene. Even Tunsil has actually commented himself because there were Dolphins fans saying that Laramie Tunsil deserves his own statue outside of the Dolphin Stadium based on how much they've managed to get for this guy.
And next year's draft will be the last of our first rounders, right? For Trey Lance.
Yeah, guess who has our first rounder next year?
Is it KC?
Miami.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So they got
they have
that's gonna be 32
Yeah.
because we're gonna win the Super Bowl. So
right,
Miami's got 2 first rounders next year.
Yep, and one of those is
now.
ours,
You guys might crucify me. You guys might crucify me for this, Ben, but one person on that list that I've seen is Kyler Murray. Could y'all see that happen? Kyler Murray to Miami?
Yeah,
with the
I would.
roster
I would totally
surprise
see
me.
Kyler Murray. I can see Kyler Murray for sure.
Yeah.
I can.
man, that'd be interesting to see him with McDaniels.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
So that means if Kyler goes to Miami, then Miami does not draft a QB.
No.
Not that early, anyways.
Or at all.
No, I think they still get one because I mean, hell, they don't got nobody else on that freaking roster, man. They're gonna need somebody to back him up.
Obviously,
you never know. It's sixth
Not
round
a top
job.
draft
Like
pick.
we picked Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant. We don't need a quarterback. You might as well take a slingshot at one in the 6th round, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you bring over Kyler Murray and then you bring in a top quarterback behind him, I mean, like, what kind of message is that?
No, you just not drafting well. You don't know how to pick. But
well, I would say I would love to see the tantrum that Kyler would throw if that happens.
He doesn't seem
That would be
to
a
have
tantrum for the ages.
I'll draft his
that
backup.
personality.
He's terrible personality.
I still think he ends up back in baseball.
The Mariners.
Hey, did you ever see that Kyler? I don't know if any of you watched the Dan Patrick Show or listened to it, but before he got drafted, did you ever see that interview he did with Dan Patrick?
No.
It was just awful. Like, he'd ask him a question and it was like, yes. And then he'd ask him another, no. Like, just that guy.
He's got no personality, no charisma.
Even like his facial expressions, just he's just a douche, bro. Like, just so cocky, man. I hate to say I dislike people, but like, he rubs me the wrong way.
Same.
What's up, Drew?
We can't go over 10 kids, and our kids alone
Drew
is 6.
Ski.
So did I miss the Mount Rushmore of conversation?
A little bit of it. We hit a pause on it, and then we just went. We squirreled into McDaniels and the Dolphins.
Yeah, sorry about that, fellas. Sorry about that.
49ers number 2. That's what you're talking about?
We were in the middle of debating Lombardi and who else, guys? Walsh,
Lombardi, Shula.
We went to a tangent about Madden just being the top overall in the NFL.
Why football got stitches.
Yeah.
Why Belichick doesn't deserve to be on the tree or on the Mount Rushmore?
Oh my goodness!
Can I tell y'all why I didn't put in on that? I didn't get into coaches till I got older.
Go ahead.
I was more of a player person. I just like the players on the team. So I really ain't know coaches until like about high school. I started looking at coaches, so I can't tell you nothing.
Okay, how about this? Let me give you my top 4, and you guys tell me what you think.
All right.
And I guess this is going to be in order. I'll do my best to put them in order. So I'll give you Walsh, Belichick, Lombardi,
yes,
Paul Brown.
Nice. We had Paul Brown.
Very nice. Respect.
A lot of us talked against Belichick though. The scandals, the scandals in his coaching tree are his downfalls.
He's got that cloud over his head, bro.
I still think Belichick has to be on there
I think
because
so
of the
too.
amount of Super Bowls. But
See, that's what
I
I'm saying.
think-
But like, it's
but my
one quarterback
argument-
that
That's why it's a debate, bro.
But
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why I'm going to argue Walsh over him because of the innovation in the West Coast offense and that coaching tree. I mean, that coaching tree is undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then see, you missed that conversation about John Madden that we actually talked him onto the list a little bit for the simple fact that he's a brand was on his own.
Listen, man got a video
I mean-
game. That's all I got to say. His coaching
You
got
see
him
what
a
I
video
mean?
game.
So you know,
I mean-
over at Mount Rushmore, how they have that crazy horse, how they're working on that crazy horse.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
call
yeah.
it, statue
The
or graving. That's Madden over there, just off to the side of Mount Rushmore. He gets his
You know
own
what?
rock.
I like that. Madden's the crazy horse next to Rushmore. I like that. That's a good one.
Because I will
Yeah.
say that John Madden is the most important person in the history of the game.
In football, yes.
We came to that conclusion as well.
Yep.
Damn,
I mean,
you guys
yeah.
are smart. I like you guys.
Mhm.
So
I'll
even,
never
even if
forget, bro.
Madden, even if Madden is not ranked on that list, he's on that Rushmore. So I mean,
100%.
we've even talked about Don Shula being on that list. Most winningest coach. How many NFC?
300
I mean,
plus
the
wins.
only coach to win 3, right? Two-time coach of the year. Only coach to win an
Yeah.
undefeated Super Bowl season.
And then I think he had a couple
And he-
AFL championships with the Colts before the merger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then as
he's
soon
no
as he left
slouch.
the Dolphins, you've seen the decline.
So can I bring up somebody who's incredibly underrated? And this came up in the chat
I wanna
the other
hear
day. George Seifert, man. I've had this conversation with my buddy over and over again. The fact that we don't talk about this guy as one of the greatest coaches, and you know, maybe not a top 10, top 15, but I mean, how is this guy not in the hall? Like,
Mhm.
I used to say this about
State
Tom
your
Flores
case.
with the Raiders, and I'm so glad that Tom Flores finally got in. It's about damn time that George Seifert gets in. 2 Super Bowls, all-time winningest Niner coach. I mean, that's really saying something when Bill Walsh is there and you have more wins than that guy. The disrespect.
I think the one
think
thing
we-
that's
I think-
kept him out, though, like the one thing that I can think of that would keep him out is the amount of losses in NFC Championship games.
Mhm.
I think that's the one argument you can make against him. But like sometimes it's harder to keep that ship afloat. Like he took over and it could have easily just went boom.
Mhm.
But no, it just kept going.
right.
That machine just kept rolling. And sometimes that's harder or even as hard as actually building the fucking ship.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, I think a lot of people discount him because he came in after Walsh. And so a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people think like, well, he just won with Walsh's team. And that may be true in a sense with that first Super Bowl. But then in 94, I mean, that was so many
Mm-hmm.
years after Walsh. I mean, that was a completely different squad in 94.
Yeah.
And that's one
Yeah.
of the best teams ever in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard task to take on. Like you're coming in to fill Bill Walsh's shoes, and you're having to keep these players bought into what you're preaching now as the new guy. Like that's not easy, and then still remain successful. Like
And
that's
don't
a lot of
forget
pressure,
though.
dude.
Don't forget though, he still ran Bill Walsh's offense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I mean, we
yeah.
could have had a mass exodus like they did with Harbaugh, but no, these guys. I mean, and he kept it going. So that's hard to me. That's credit.
To be fair,
He ran the offense. He go ahead.
Sorry, go on. I'd say he probably wins more Super Bowls than Walsh had you not had the Jimmy Johnson Cowboys.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Green
And
Bay
that's
Packers.
another all-time great coach when you think about what he did. Like that's a guy that gets overlooked too.
Yep.
I mean, I know
And
he's in the
Jimmy Johnson?
conversation. Yeah. He's in the
My problem with
conversation.
Jimmy Johnson. My
Is it
problem with
Miami?
Jimmy Johnson is what Yeah, that Miami's my problem. I mean, you took over for a coach that was already winning. It's like the Seifert and Walsh conversation. You know, Seifert still ran Walsh's offense, offense that was created by his successor, versus a guy that took over for a team that was already on a plateau so high to where you let it drop in your possession.
Cowboys were on hard times when Jimmy came in.
I get it, but I mean, you were handed the keys to something already great, and you demolished it. You let it crumble.
I don't know. I think when you think about that Herschel Walker trade and the way he was able to turn that into Aikman, Emmett, and Michael Irvin. I mean that's like when that's Walsh-ish. Like when Walsh came in and got Montana and Rice and all those guys.
Like with Seifert, though, like a lot of people are gonna get him on the losses, but to me, I actually give somebody credit for think about the people he had, like the teams that Seifert had to go against. The 1980, early 90 Giants, the dynasty of the Cowboys, and the Green Bay Packers. Those are some of the greatest football teams ever established. And he managed to get Super Bowls during that era.
And we grew up with that Cowboys rivalry, and I mean that was the Super Bowl. Those NFC Championship games, that was better than the Super Bowl. Whoever won that, you knew was taking home the trophy.
Yep,
100%.
That's true.
And that, I mean, if we talk in the what ifs, which I don't like to, but it's one of those things like that could have easily been another 3 Lombardi trophies if those games would have turned out different. I mean, that's how close that rivalry was.
That's what I loved about 1990s NFL, man, because when you look at the NFC, you knew the Super Bowl was going through 2 teams, the Cowboys or the Niners. 2 teams, Cowboys or the Niners. You got to beat one of them, and if both of them mean in the NFC Championship, whoever wins that game wins the Super Bowl. Point blank.
Yep.
And early 2000, it was just, you look at it, the Super Bowl, you gotta go through the Patriots. In the NFC, every year it was the team that was different. So it's kind of like I miss those rivalries.
And I remember when the Broncos won, there was a streak. It was like 13 years in a row that the NFC had won the Super Bowl or something. There was a pretty decent streak because the Broncos snapped it. I do remember that.
Dude, that's arguably one of the toughest eras in football is the 90s.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt. There were some freaking powerhouse teams.
Tougher players.
Yep. Big ass
if we're looking
players.
at the 90s,
huge, bro.
If we're looking at it in the 90s alone, between the Cowboys and the Niners, they got 5. Cowboys won 3 in the 90s, right? And we won 2 in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. We got 1 in the 90s.
We got 1. We got 1 in 89.
Just 1?
89 and 94.
We got 1. Yep. 94. Yeah.
Well, all right. I mean, 89 is pretty damn close to 90. Too. So why not? The Packers got 2 in the 90s.
No, they got 1. They did back-to-back. They lost to Denver. But, I mean, still, that's your point.
Yeah,
Look at that. I mean, you had a string of Cowboys, Niners, Packers.
I think 92 was hard because, dude, we were 14-2, bro. That's a 8.75 winning percentage, and we lost to the fucking Cowboys.
We lost to the Cowboys, didn't we?
Yeah. 14-2, and you don't take home the trophy, bro. That's heartbreaking. As a 49er fans, we've had some heartbreakers. We've had glories, but that stings. 14-2, and you don't win the Super Bowl. That's brutal. And then to the fucking Cowboys.
Yeah.
We got some
if I remember
teams
correctly, looking back at the 49ers, if I'm remember correctly, looking back at the 49ers history, winning history, we've only had 2, I think, or 3 real losing seasons. And I mean losing season, only winning 2 to 3 games. We've only had 2 of them in our whole history. Is it
back to back?
I think one was earlier than that.
We only won 2 or
Possibly
3
in
under
the
both Tom Sula
Dennis
and Kelly. Yeah.
Bergson, Mike Nolan era. Those were
Yeah.
some pretty lean years in the like 2003, right after Moosh. Those were some. I was looking at those. For
Yeah.
some reason, I was looking at the old rosters. Man, those were some rough years, man. Not a lot of talent on those teams.
Under
I think it was in
Mariucci,
91. 91, we went 10-6, and we were still third in the division. I mean, competition was stiff, dude.
I mean, our division had sucked for the longest.
Man, I don't remember the division being that strong in the 90s, but it must have been.
In 91, it was.
And that was back. That would have been Atlanta, the Rams, Cardinals were in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, the Rams. Was New Orleans in the West?
The Seahawks.
I just remember that
West.
division being really whack back in the day, geographically.
I believe I think New Orleans wasn't they? No,
Because
they
Carolina was in the
Central.
West once upon a time.
New Orleans was in Central.
Were they
I
in
think
Central?
Atlanta was in Central as well. Yeah, I think Atlanta was Central too. Because 2 teams that was in the West left the NFC and went to the AFC. And the Seahawks came from the AFC and went to the NFC.
No, the Saints were Atlanta, Carolina, and
Yeah, so the Saints won the division that year. They were in the West. How the hell were they in the West?
Yeah,
Was it
and
the
the
West?
Cardinals were in the East. Remember when the Cardinals were in the
Yeah.
East?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's tough. Like, now that you're thinking about that, think about all the traveling that the Niners had to do back then, and to be that dominant heading out east so often. That's pretty impressive when you think about it.
But they didn't
I
play
mean,
the
their
Cardinals
closest
twice.
was St. Louis. That was their closest road trip within the division.
But they didn't play the Cardinals twice a year when that was like
No, but I mean, you're still going to Atlanta and Carolina, man. I mean, Carolina's on the coast.
It was the Niners, Saints, Rams, and Falcons, NFC West.
That's insane.
And then the NFC East, we had 4 teams it was all sorts of jacked up. NFC East
Hold
had
on,
the
bro.
Giants,
Yeah.
Eagles, Redskins, Cowboys, and Cardinals. Yep.
What year is it? What year was that, Coach Ron?
Are you for real? That can't be correct, bro. Because I mean, it was only 3 division then.
Yeah, and
Before
then
it
the
split.
In the
Central.
90s.
It was the Central, the East, and the West. And then the Central had the Bears, the Bucks, the Lions, Packers, and Vikings. There's only 3 divisions.
Really?
Mhm.
Yep. I remember our bunk ass division way back in the day.
It was terrible.
I never really thought about that till now, though. All that travel, man. Jeez.
That when we had
A lot of
28
travel.
teams. I think we only had 28 teams back then. Now we have 32. So they bumped up to 4 teams.
Yeah, because you got Carolina and Jacksonville,
Mhm.
and then Cleveland came back, and then Houston. That got us to 32.
I got you, Coach Ron, bud. You go,
All right,
bud. You go,
fellas.
bud.
With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and shut my trap. Let y'all get to it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
All right, then, bud.
All right.
Yeah,
Later.
be
See
safe.
you.
Yeah, Paul said he would go and show up, but he's at a party now, but he's hurrying to get back. But I told him not to worry about it. We're going to be for a little bit. So
I'm telling. He said, "Shh." I said, "I'm telling." I am snitching.
now I know we went through Rushmore, and we decided to have, of course, Lombardi, Walsh, and who was the third one you said? I'm sorry.
Shula was a consensus
Shula, that's
pick,
what
wasn't it?
Don Shula. Don Shula undefeated. Yep, undefeated in the year. What was the fourth one again, guys?
That was the
Sure.
one we didn't come to.
We didn't
There
get to
was
it.
2 different opinions.
Okay. I was thinking about it. 3 you guys are talking about it. I'm like, I don't want to say it, but I can't stand the Cowgirls. Jimmy Johnson. Because the 5 Super Bowls in the 90s. I'm just saying that's all. Don't make me a bad guy. I'm just saying it. So,
He went to 5 Super Bowl in the 90s.
yeah, that's how they won
With the
5 Super
Cowboys?
Bowls. 5
No,
Super
there
Bowls.
they went to 3.
He didn't go-
They went back
yeah,
to
he
back
didn't go
with
to 5.
Jimmy, and then Jimmy left, and then Switzer.
They won 5 in the
won that
90s,
third
right? They
one.
won 5 in the 90s, wasn't it? 90s? They won
No,
5?
they won 2 in the
No.
70s with Landry.
Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy's a 2-time.
My mistake
And
on
then
that one.
Switzer essentially won one with Jimmy's squad
I got you.
for what it's worth.
I
I mean,
we
you
won't
still
make,
got to
and we
win the
won't make
game.
Jimmy
so-
Johnson in the 4th. That's fine. It's good.
But Jimmy's no slouch. I mean, he really isn't.
I mean, he's obviously a good coach. You don't get as far as you do without being good, but it's that, like Mav was pointing out earlier, that whole thing with Miami. That I think that has to preclude him from the Mount Rushmore.
I got you. Sounds good to me, it does. I wanted to bring up a picture for you guys to look at. I looked at it last night. I'm like, I got to bring this up on the show. I have to. It's like a
I mean, I know people that will even put Parcell up there.
That's,
You see
I
that
don't know
picture?
if I can make that argument for Parcell.
Yeah, I know.
no,
I know.
I don't think there is one to be made for him personally.
There you go.
You know, Parcells
Yeah,
the guy that you look back on and I mean, he built multiple winning teams. I mean, he built the Giants, the dominant Giants, and then he went and he built New England, took them to a Super Bowl, and then he built New York into a strong team too. I mean, Dallas too. Dallas was strong. I mean, there may not have been a lot of Super Bowls, but there were 2 with the Giants, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, Parcells gave us Belichick.
I don't know. I think it's somebody out there you can put over him.
Well, you guys are crazy that you don't have Belichick on the Mount Rushmore.
I mean,
I think Belichick should be there.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
mentioned Landry.
Mike ain't gonna put Belichick there.
Okay,
What
dude.
are you talking about?
No. Hold on. I got this, TJ. If you put Belichick on that list, then do you take out Landry? Do you take out Shula?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you take out Walsh?
Dude,
do you take
I
out
take
Lombardi?
out-
Who do you take out?
six
do you
Super
take out?
Bowls. 6 Super Bowls trump Landry's 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like Brady.
So you would take out Landry.
You don't have to like the guy, but come on now.
Yeah, but okay, what about a coach like Paul Brown, who has 2 franchises? I mean, he was basically the reason for 2 franchises. He got one named after him, and
Hey,
I mean,
Here it is.
one franchise.
you're making the
that-
wrong
that's the
argument
social
because I
thing, because
already
he-
have Paul Brown on my
No, I'm just
Mount
saying.
Rushmore.
I'm just
so
saying.
I can't
though.
come at that unbiased. There's the plug.
But you got, but you got to think about the rest. You got to think about the rest of the guys that we all named on there too. I mean, even if most of us are different, it's for the most part we got most of the same guys. So who do you take off that list just to put Belichick at that? Meaning that Belichick is better than that guy. That's what you're telling us.
You're probably taking off Shula. That's who I would
So
probably take
Belichick
off.
is better than. So
Oh,
Belichick
yeah,
is better than
Belichick's better
Shula.
than Shula. Yeah. 6 Super Bowls, Matt. Like I said, you don't gotta like Saban. Who likes Saban? But I'm not going to sit
Man,
here.
Saban is a snitch. We ain't talking
I'm
about
not
Saban
going
right now.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Saban's probably not the best coach to ever coach college football. I don't like the guy, but come on now.
Now, see, my thing with the Super Bowls with the fact that he had Brady for 20 years. That's
my
my
God.
argument against that.
No,
No. I
I
mean,
mean, you look
think
at it this
about it.
way.
Though.
So
you can't make that argument because think about it
Why
this
not?
way. Because Brady got drafted in the 6th round, so plenty of people had an opportunity to draft Brady.
Nah,
But
hold
Belichick
on.
was smart enough to see something in Brady to draft him and then properly develop him and win 6 Super Bowls with him and make
Nah.
9 appearances. Like
He's seen a
come on,
Michigan
guys.
player.
Come on. Like that's like saying like,
hold on now.
well,
Hold on.
we can't put Walsh on the Mount Rushmore because he had Montana. How come no one's making that argument here?
okay, but
Well,
you got
no,
you got to
because
take
Walt
into account.
Drafted
Look
Montana, developed Montana. You can't hold Brady against. See, you guys.
So
You
in
guys
other
can't-
words,
You guys are
So-
holding
so-
Brady against Belichick, and you're holding
We're not-
Belichick
no,
against
no,
Brady
no,
to
no.
make your argument.
The arguments
We're
that
not-
the main
we're
arguments
not.
we're making why Belichick doesn't belong on there is one, the scandals. The guy's got too many scandals,
Oh my God!
and
man,
you can't
too many scandals.
deny those. It's scandal after scandal after scandal. This guy, and then 2, look at the coaching tree. If he's so great, why are these coaches not succeeding on their own elsewhere?
I'm saying
These other coaches that we have on the Mount Rushmore, they've got coaching trees that have expanded, and other guys that were developed under these coaches went on to success of their own. Belichick, none of these guys succeed. And also, you wanted to talk Brady in the equation. Brady did great under Belichick. Brady leaves and it has instant success. And Belichick is still struggling to find that success without Brady.
Okay, so he's had 2 years without Brady. 1 year he missed the playoffs. Last year he made the playoffs. He's doing all right.
Okay, so let's see how
Come on,
he does.
These are bad faith arguments. These are bad faith arguments.
Think about it though. TJ, think about it for 1 second. Let's just say you're a journeyman coach, right? You spend 2 years in any organization you go to. You, TJ, the coach. You go to New England, whatever quarterback is there, they're a shitty team. All of a sudden, they win the Super Bowl within the first 2 years you there. You leave. You go to the damn Jets. 2 years. Same scenario. They fuck up 1 year. You bring them back to life. They win the next year. Now, third team. You go to the damn Browns. Never won one in their damn. Well, they have one in their franchise, but it's been so long. You bring them back to greatness. They win a Super Bowl. Now you got 3 Super Bowls with 3 different teams in 6 years. You a hell of a coach with 3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
Now that's where I stand with Brady and Belichick. 20 years together, you expect success every year. But now it's like, damn, okay, what can he do this year with Mac Jones under a true full year, full system? Everything's there for him. What can he do? Can he get this guy to bring the Patriots back to greatness? Then okay, your argument would pretty much shut me up based on he did it with another quarterback.
Guys, I'm not making the argument that Belichick's the greatest coach ever. I mean, if someone made that argument, I wouldn't argue too hard against it.
But think about it though, TJ. That's just what you're doing, because Rushmore meanings, like when we say Rushmore, we mean the greatest of all time, the 4 greatest head coaches of all time.
Who is the? Think about it this way. Okay, who's the best team in the 80s? If we're looking by decade, best team in the 80s. San Francisco.
Best team
of the 90s. Cowboys.
Dallas.
Best team of the 2000s. New England.
I know where he's going with this.
Best team of the 2010s.
I see where he's going.
New England.
He's going based on decades.
Every decade.
Decades of football.
Okay, you look at
DJ. You look at Belichick, how he's been without Brady. A losing season, gets to the playoffs. What if he has another losing season and misses the playoffs this season? How is your perception of Belichick going to be?
We can't judge him on something that hasn't happened.
No, actually, you can, because he was with the Browns. He coached the Browns.
Yeah, he did, and he put together the basis of the team that became the basis of a championship-winning team under the Ravens. He also won Super Bowls with the Giants.
But he wasn't a head coach.
He's got a history of success.
But you're talking about head coach, though. Yeah, but you're talking about head coach.
Yeah, but he was the head coach of the Browns, and that was ultimately the blueprint of the Ravens that went on to win in Baltimore. I mean, the vast majority of that team played under Belichick as the head coach of.
If we're talking about him as a head coach, I'll take 244 wins over 21 seasons and a 6-3 record in the Super Bowl. Sorry, guys, the numbers don't lie. It's just like Brady.
Those numbers goes back to him having one quarterback for 20 years.
Okay, then
all the other coaches that had him for like maybe 5 or 10.
Then we can't make an argument for Walsh because he had Montana. Right?
But how long did he have Montana for? How long did he have
for the whole time he was there, and when he won 3 Super Bowls?
I'm saying the coach for okay.
He was there for 9 years. Had Montana all 9 years. Won 3 Super Bowls. We can't. He had Montana, so we can't. It's like.
We're talking about Rushmore. Let's not talk about records. Let's talk about innovation. Did Belichick bring any kind of innovation to the game?
Sustained success. over the course of 20 years. No one else has ever achieved that.
Success over the salary
Besides
cap.
having
this
rule
guy
change
mastered
year
the
in and year
salary
out.
cap.
No other team has ever achieved success over that length of time.
Let's go year by year. So he started coaching in 2000 for New England. 5-11, 11-5, first in the AFC East, 9-7, 14-2, first in the AFC East, 14-2, first in the AFC East, 10-6, first in the AFC East, 12-4, first in the AFC East, 16-0, first in the AFC East, 11-5, second in the AFC East, 10-6, first in the AFC East, 14-2 first, 13-3 first, 12-4 first, 12-4 first, 12-4 first, 12-4 first, 14-2 first, 13-3 first, 11-5 first, 12-4 first, 7-9 third, 10-7 second.
I think we know where you're going, dude.
I mean, come on, who's not going to sign up for that?
Okay. Check this out. What year you said? What was the first year?
2000.
Bledsoe. What was the second year?
2001.
Bledsoe. What was the third year?
2001 was Tom Brady.
Bledsoe.
Super Bowl.
That was when he was drafted. Yeah, 2001.
Was it? No, he had Belichick had Belichick had Bledsoe. Belichick had Bledsoe for at least a minimum of 3 years before he had Brady. Before Brady entered.
No, he won the Super Bowl in 2001.
Look it up. Belichick. That was.
I'm
Belichick's
looking at the
first year
stats right now. He
first
started
year?
New England in 2000. He was 5-11. 2001, 11-5, won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl in his second year.
Okay, so he had Bledsoe for 1 year then.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not enough to really judge him on that. Bledsoe was still a winning quarterback.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Brady.
Montana.
There's nothing against Brady, dude. There's nothing against it. All I'm saying is like it's kind of hard for me to really.
So we have Chicago Bulls fans here now. So Phil Jackson's not that great of a coach, right? Because he won them with Jordan, and then he left, and then he had Kobe. I mean, god damn, that Phil Jackson, he's a schmuck, right? Because he always had these great players. Who cares how many championships Phil Jackson won?
Phil Jackson is an innovator. He created the triangle, dude. He brought something else to the game besides just coaching the game of basketball. And he won with. Hold on. You're talking about a guy that won with Jordan and Kobe. Two different teams.
Okay.
Two different teams versus one guy who coached a team for 20 plus years. One guy.
Okay. So I'm going back. I'm going to the established Mount Rushmore. So Shula was on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did he bring to the game besides 1 year where he went undefeated?
Tell him, please, Nick. You had the stats in front of you.
In fairness, he's the winningest coach of all time. And to go an entire season undefeated in the NFL, that's the only time it's ever been done. You can't ignore that. Shula's on there for me, but I'm sorry, I'm still with TJ. Belichick's in the 4 for me.
Okay, so Lombardi. What about all the
scandals? Yeah, Lombardi.
And
what was Lombardi's innovation? The trap running game.
Lombardi was a teacher, point blank. Any team he went to was like pretty much an instant success. When you think about it, give him a year or two, that team is back up there. You clearly seen it with the Redskins before he passed, bro. If not for his death, the Redskins.
This definition that you guys have, it doesn't hold any water because we're putting Walsh on there, and I'm 100% with Walsh. And but he only coached 9 years with San Francisco. He had Joe Montana. Okay.
And who else?
Belichick has coached 21 years with New England and had Tom Brady. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you're willing to put Walsh on there, but then you're going to tell me that you can't.
Well, Belichick
can't be on there because he's only won in New England.
Walsh is on there. Walsh is on there.
He innovated the West Coast offense. You still haven't given us anything,
and you still using that to this day.
Besides having winning season after winning season after winning season after winning season, what has he contributed to the game that has been kind of put out through all of the league that people have used.
6 Super Bowls.
We're not talking about Super Bowl wins and record. Take
Guys,
You can't discount them.
guys, your argument is like, you don't have to like the guy, but you have to call, like, you can't sit there with a straight face and tell me he is not one of the 4 best coaches in the history of the NFL.
For me, it's also the scandals. None of these other coaches have these scandals like Belichick.
There's always scandals.
Spying on team after team after team. The guy finds a way to try and cheat and get away with it. You can't deny that. Spygate's happened more than once now. Every couple years he gets caught cheating and spying on other teams. You can't do that. That's not a Mount Rushmore quality to me. The guy has lack of judgment and character. It shows. Silence.
I think we've hit an impasse. I don't think we're ever going to cross that line.
We can't reason with the unreasonable.
Honestly, TJ, it has nothing to do with liking or disliking them. I mean, like you said, we all have our own opinion on why this guy should and should not be on there. Like for me, like I said, you had one quarterback for 20 years. Like that's guaranteed every year. After you won your first Super Bowl, second Super Bowl, every year it was a guarantee you would make it. You would get there. So there was no struggles for Belichick.
Guys, this argument is based
yeah, that can't be used as a slight against them.
Right, okay. Listen to hold on. Listen years. But no one is saying
Elway with the
Belichick
Broncos.
is not on. No one is saying that Belichick is not on the top 5 or a top 10.
He's very accomplished. Yes, give him that.
Someone has to be left out. But then when you start like really looking at everything on the table besides Super Bowls and wins and everything, like what has this guy really brought to the NFL? What has he done to change the game? Like Mike said, what has he contribute? When you're looking at Hall of Famers and you looking at Heisman Trophy winners and all that, all those things comes into play. What have they contributed to the game besides rushing for over 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns? What else have they done? You see what I mean? So it's like when you got someone like Mike and others that are looking at the scandals, and you got someone like me who's looking at, he's only had one guy who's been successful his whole career, it's hard to really like.
That's a ridiculous argument, Mav, though. Like your Brady argument is a ridiculous argument.
We're going in
circles. It's ridiculous.
Let's move on. We're going in circles.
This is never going to get resolved.
All I heard was big tie. That's all I heard.
That's the thing about Brady, man. It's like freaking Jimmy in the Niners. You can't win or lose for shit. It's like,
when you think about it, okay. And when just one last point, I mean, I know you guys are like, you guys have this Brady vendetta that nobody can get over, but when Brady tore his ACL, the Patriots did go 11-5 with Matt Castle. I mean, the 1 year that Belichick was without Brady, he managed to win 11 games. So, I mean, if you want to talk about the guy winning without Brady, he managed to go 11. So, if we're looking, he went 11-5 in 08 without Brady, and then he was without Brady in 2020, went 7-9, and then went 10-7. So, I mean, he's won without Brady. Oh, but he didn't win Super Bowls. Come on, guys.
That's one of the main argument. If you don't leave Super Bowls out of it, then him winning without Brady is irrelevant. He needs to win a Super Bowl without Brady in order to be like them. He did.
This is
you got, but no, TJ. Think about it,
guys. Come on.
Think about it. You're gonna have people that do that, right? Am I right or wrong? If you can't leave Super Bowls out of it, then it's gonna come down to the argument: can he win a Super Bowl without Brady?
Okay,
Brady
let's leave Super Bowls out of it. He's won 244 games.
Still, where's the innovation? I want to hear the innovation.
Hey, my argument for Walsh over Belichick is because of the innovation.
Okay.
But to say that Belichick's not on the Mount Rushmore. Come on.
No, he's not. Not for me.
Where's Ron at? I want to hear Ron's opinion.
Moving on.
He's already gone.
He's already gone.
I think he made the smart decision.
Okay, let's move on.
Hey, Drew, you still
nothing but love, Mav. Nothing but love.
Ryan, give us a topic.
Hey, Nick, I don't know if you guys want to stay or not, but you want to go through your schedule?
I was going to be heading off fairly soon, to be honest, man. I mean,
Okay.
I'll be honest. I mean,
You want to do it real
the
quick?
schedule's a bit of an odd one.
We'll do it real quick or not?
I mean, I did see obviously that Mavs 7 home games in a row didn't quite come to fruition.
It almost happened.
I mean, when I started looking down it was like home, away, home, away, home, away. Like, this couldn't have been more opposite. But it didn't work out quite how I wanted it because I was planning trips over.
The Cardinals giving up their home game screwed me. It could have been close.
Yeah, and it's right in the middle of the season, isn't it? So
Yeah, it was close.
I mean, I was really hoping that we'd have 2 home games back to back in September to make it worth me coming over then, so I could catch some Giants games at the same time. But that hasn't worked out. But it did work out in another way because I'm going to be over for Saints and Dolphins, and I shall be there for Thanksgiving. Looks like I'm going to be able to get as well the Stanford's last home game of the season against BYU, so that should be a bit of fun. And there's a little bit I think we talked before the show about maybe heading over to Vegas the Friday before the Dolphins game for the Pac-12 championship as well. So that'll depend on cost. But, all in all, I think the schedule itself has been relatively kind. I think our worst case scenario is 4-4 by the bye. I'm looking more at us being 5-1, 4-2, depending on some of those tougher games, especially with the AFC West. But I think after the bye, that's when the team has to kick in, because I can see us genuinely going on a run with those final games, maybe 1, maybe 2 losses max. But we just have to see.
Who are your 1 or 2 losses from?
I'm just literally remembering us when we did the recordings, what I said back then. I'm trying to picture in my head what the actual schedule is at the moment, to be honest. I mean, first up,
KC, wasn't it?
It was KC. I can see us losing that. I can see us splitting, certainly pre-bye week, splitting the 2 games with the Rams. There they are.
So wait a minute. We all picked that we would lose against KC. So what happens when we stun them and we win?
We celebrate. We dance.
Are we bad fans? Are we bad fans?
Ryan had us going undefeated.
Yeah,
we know.
But I mean, the Broncos, that could be a tough game because of that damn asshat who's now down there. Splitting the games I think we split the games against the Lambs. But I've got the Chiefs down as a loss. But after that, I think the Raiders are going to flat out to deceive. I think we do a double over the Cardinals because essentially we're going to be home twice. Because we're going to travel a damn sight better than the Cardinals fans are down to Mexico. We've got a bigger following in Mexico amongst locals than they have. That's going to be basically 2 home games. I see 2 wins there.
So are you claiming that a home game?
I'm claiming that as a home game.
Are you claiming that as a home game?
Yeah, I'm claiming the Mexico City game as a home game.
100%.
So that gives me 5 straight home games.
Yeah, that's still not 7.
It's damn close, goddamn. It's damn close.
I mean, if you really want to, you could say that the Niners are at home. They're not playing, but they will be at home during the bye week, maybe.
On the West Coast.
And that's going to be a big factor. The fact that there isn't so much traveling. And I say after the bye, I think there's only 2 losses, and I think they are the Chargers and the Bucks. because the rest of them I can see as being wins.
I had us going 14-3.
I think the worst case scenario I'm looking at is six or 7 losses.
Hey guys, can I ask a question?
Go ahead, TJ. Go, bud. Go ahead.
I'm not stirring the pot this time. Nothing but love, fellas. No, I'm just thinking about this because I think we all look at this schedule and we look at this roster and we feel pretty good about it, especially thinking back to last year. So, how much of our success falls on Trey Lance? Like, how much of us being successful is on Trey Lance's shoulders?
I don't think it's as much as the media likes to try and represent it. Shanahan is going to set Trey up for success. We know what Shanahan can do with the subpar quarterback, Jimmy G. He can scheme him to win. So I think Shanahan's going to be good at helping Trey with his growing pains and make him look better than he should at that point. I think the beginning of the season, the first 2 weeks are great games to get Trey going. And then that week 3 is going to be, I think, his first real challenge where I think the pressure is going to fall on him. But I think Shanahan's going to help out these growing pains. And I don't think it's win or bust with Trey Lance according to the media.
Yeah, see, I'm just
Is that
like
what you're
I'm with you
asking,
guys
like
too.
schedule wise?
I just because I mean we're looking at this schedule and we're looking at this team and we all our eyes light up, our pupils dilate. We're so excited for this coming season, and I'm right there with you guys. And I'm just I don't know. I just feel like we have pretty big expectations with the second-year quarterback.
Are you referring
and I'm
to
not
how
saying that's
many
right or wrong
games
because
that
I'm
Trey
just as
Lance is
excited
going
as
to
you
win
are.
himself?
No, I'm just referring
No, what
to
I'm asking, what I'm trying to ask is,
Yeah, Mav.
no, I was just asking him, like, based on how many wins like Trey Lance will actually win himself versus like a whole team win. Like, is that what you're referring to? Like when
I
success
wasn't
as far as like
asking.
putting a team on his back?
I wasn't asking that, but I actually think that's a good question, Mav. Like,
see, I think
we think Lance could put this team on his shoulders and pull out a win or two.
I don't think he's going to have to. I think this team is built where it doesn't rely strictly on Trey. I think our defense this year, Ryan's is just going to dominate. I think our defense is going to be scary. It's not a team.
So then, what we're saying here. So what we're saying this is instead of Trey Lance's success, is more Shanahan's, right?
No, a team success. Every player is going to need every player to buy in.
We've got enough playmakers on both sides of the ball.
I mean, you think about it.
Help our young quarterback out. It doesn't rely on putting this team on his shoulders like some of the other rookie quarterbacks where they're the team. It's not with Trey. Trey, I think out of all the rookie quarterbacks from last year, Trey's in the best position to succeed based on the playmakers around him.
Exactly. And that's what I like. That's what I think about this team. And, you know, there's lots of and we can roll our eyes at all the analysts we want. I do it every day when I'm on Twitter. But, you know, they second guess this team. They second guess Trey. But what I think is last year specifically, we went to the NFC Championship game with average quarterback play.
Yeah.
And so if we at least get average from Trey Lance, why can't we do the same? If Trey Lance is Patrick Mahomes, look out. But if not, if he's developing in his first year, I mean, why can't we do what we did last year?
100%. And I think Trey Lance playing and still developing is still better than a Jimmy G with a bum shoulder and jacked up finger.
I'm with you.
And look where that got us.
Because I think Trey Lance is going to make his mistakes, but then he's going to make at least a throw or two a game that Jimmy could never even think about making. And I think that's going to make up for those mistakes that he makes early on.
I 100% agree.
I think we've already seen that in a couple of games, right?
Sometimes I just think I'm crazy,
Yeah,
that I'm so excited and think the Niners could be so good this year. And sometimes it's like, do I need to talk myself down a little? Like, am I being too biased?
I mean, TJ, this is why this panel exists, for people like us who think so outside the damn box. You feel me? Like we gotta calm down a little bit.
We can't fall into his
Come on,
media.
try it once. On one TDP. I promise it's good.
This
What did he
media
say?
trap, they gotta find something to talk about, and of course it's gonna be something negative. Like, I would love for a media to be a little more biased when we talk about Trey. Talk about these other rookie quarterbacks that they think are going to do phenomenal all of a sudden. Why? They didn't show anything, in my opinion, last year to show the positive feedback they're getting this year. And Trey, he's just getting trashed on by the media. And it's kind of ridiculous. I get that and he's unproven that much, but I mean, give the kid a shot.
Hold on. It sucks to me on how no one is talking about Trevor Lawrence. You know, the minute you mention his name, oh man, come on, you gotta think about it. He had Urban Meyer. You know, you gotta give him. So why can't we do the same for Trey? You know, we don't talk about Zach Wilson. Look how, come on. I mean, I feel like he's gonna have a better second year. He's gonna be one of those QBs that's gonna be right behind Trey because they've been working together. So it's kind of like almost, you think about it, similarities are gonna really show when it comes to Sundays. So I look for him to be a good second-year player. I look for Justin Fields to struggle a hell of a lot because, I mean, instead of giving him anything,
Chicago's
they took
got
away
nothing
from him.
around him.
So,
yeah.
I was watching I forget which, I think it was NFL Access. And the analysts were actually talking about how they thought Justin Fields was put in a better situation this year to succeed. And I was like, what are you looking at? Chicago is arguably not even arguably, they are such a worse team than they were last year. They took away all of Fields' weapons. He has been put in to succeed.
I would like to know what the conversation would be if you had Trevor Lawrence or a Zach Wilson or even a Fields on the 49ers. Like, I'm curious what the analysts would be saying.
I really believe that a lot of this hate is coming from most of these analysts. They had it pegged that it was Mac Jones. They were told by this source. They were told by that source. Mac Jones is the number 3 pick. When the second we picked Trey Lance, they all had egg on their face. And I think they are still pissed off about that. So they're going to do what they can to try and bring Trey Lance down because they thought
because they was not right.
Yeah. So now they're pissed off about it. And now when Trey goes he's the way we think he's going to succeed, they're going to have egg on their face yet again next year.
We've seen what they said about Trey. If it was Trevor Lawrence, we know what they said about him. He was the more NFL-ready quarterback, so nothing would be said about him. And we all know if the 49ers were to pick Lawrence, Jimmy would have already been gone day one. It wouldn't have been no reason to keep him there. Zach Wilson, I think probably would. Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, I think probably would have been in a similar situation, but Jimmy probably would have been gone in the middle of the season. So that leaves who? Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones get put in the same situation as Trevor Lawrence. Jimmy's gone the first night. So Trey Lance, I feel like really got a shitty end of the stick when you think about it. If you're looking at the way I'm looking at it.
But then these same guys who are talking crap on him right now, these are the same guys who are saying before the draft that if he would have played one more year and he was in the draft class today, he would have been the number 1 pick overall. So how within 2 to 3 weeks do you go from calling him the top draft class pick of this year if he was still in it to now being trash? It makes no sense. They're just
because it's clickbait.
Yeah, they're trying to find some narrative to get their clicks because positivity doesn't get you clicks. Negativity does. The other coincidence, as soon as the Debo situation became positive for us, there's nothing else to talk about. He's still to stand with his shoulder. So what do you do next? Oh, let's go talk crap on the young quarterback in San Francisco. It's going to get us the clicks because that fan base will click on us. They'll read every article and argue about it.
I mean, you think about it. I was one for the guys that was up with it when the whole George Kittle talk. You know, if he wasn't gonna be there for Trey, why keep him? Send him off. That died real quick. Then we talked about
George is out there now. Yeah. He is one of the proponents for Trey. He's talking up every second.
Exactly.
He just invited him to his tight end.
He's gonna tighten you, yeah.
So Kittle's out there. All right, he's hyping up the kid, which we knew he would. When he knew Jimmy was the guy, he up-talked Jimmy. Now George knows Jimmy's the guy. It's going to be Trey starting. So now here he is. He's a team player. And he's going to up-talk his quarterback.
That's why
Kittle's I got a question, man. You know what? You took that right out of my mind, TJ, because I was just about to say, I mean, like, here, we talk about how professional – think about it. We talk about how professional Jimmy G handled this whole quarterback situation crap. We give up all these draft capitals to go pick up a guy third. That sends a message. But what about George Kittle? When they ask him questions, I mean, he made us believe that he was Team Jimmy all the way until it was no longer Team Jimmy. I mean, not only he's loyal, but he kept it to the point to where, like, dude, stop asking me questions to force me to talk about something that I don't want to talk about.
We talked about this. That's why.
Get off if you want to, bud.
Yeah, I'm going to go. It's getting quite late for me now.
We'll see you next week, Aaron.
Thanks so much, guys. I would like to see you all soon. Good now, guys.
Make it to sorry.
Now, if we talked about this, he say exactly was coach. Jimmy was the quarterback. Jimmy's
I don't think. But that's the thing, though. I don't think he was coached to do that, bro. I think that's just genuinely who he is, bro. Whoever's his quarterback,
he's going to.
He's not going down as quarterback.
Yeah. He's going to support him regardless.
He's not a negative guy. He's not going to shit talk anybody. So when people were talking, when are you going to finally talk about Trey? I knew the second he knew that Trey was the guy, he was going to shift gears and be behind Trey. That's who he is. Yeah. He's 100%. This guy's going to retire for a Niner.
Speaking of Kittle, is there we may have a favorite Niner player that may be different than Kittle, but is there any other Niner right now that you would rather go have a beer with and go spend a night out on the town with?
100% Kittle. I want to go drink with that guy. I want to talk football with that guy. I want to talk wrestling with that guy.
I want to talk wrestling with him.
Yeah.
You know what? George Kittle to me is the Rob Gronkowski to the 49ers. Like, seriously. His energy is up there.
It's so fun. Like, I'm staying at the Niner Hotel for the opening game, home opener.
You hoping to run into him?
I'm going to be stalking that hotel bar, and my goal is to go meet George Kittle, have him sign something, and just shake that man's hand.
Okay, so take Kittle out the equation. Like, which other 49er stands on that level that you feel like is just like Kittle or somewhere close?
Oh man, that's rough.
That is.
I'm talking about attitude-wise, leadership-wise.
I really like Warner. Like, Warner's my guy on the defensive side of the ball. And he seems pretty cool, like his personality. But I don't know. He's just not as out there as Kittle. Like, he's kind of quiet.
I feel like Kittle is the most approachable guy. Like, I think you can just go up to him easily, shake his hand. He's got no problem talking to you for a little bit. He's like the spokesperson for this team right now.
Like, I feel like I should hate Kittle because of that ponytail, but it works for him.
Yeah, the man bun.
You're cool in my book, Kittle. Ponytail and all.
Bosa looks a little too intimidating to me. Like, don't approach me type.
See, I think me and Bosa would start talking politics and we wouldn't get along.
Oh, God. I tell you what, though. If I were to get a drink with just any NFL player, active or inactive right now, it had to have been Pat McAfee, dude.
Oh, Pat McAfee, 100%. That guy.
It has to be, bro.
Oh, okay. So current player, who would you want to go have a drink with?
For me, I still think it's Kittle. 49ers. Just 49ers?
Any player across the league. Like, who do you like? If you could have a beer with any player in the league, who would it be? I still think it's Kittle for me.
I agree. For me, it's still Kittle.
I mean,
the first time I saw him do the Seattle Miato, and I was just like, "Oh, Pentagon, that's my boy."
Yeah, no.
I mean, it would be Kittle hands down, but I mean, if Kittle's not available, who's next? I mean, I like to think about things like that. You know, like who's next on that list? Like, because I know this guy shows up in front of me, I'm straight up, hey, bro, let's go get a beer. I don't give a damn. I don't want no autograph. Let's go get a beer. That's it.
Who has that fun personality of Kittle?
Like who else around the league can you say that you can do that with?
I can't think anybody. I can't think of anybody.
You know, I always used to think Debo seemed like a pretty cool cat until this offseason. Then it kind of, you know.
No, Debo, you're gonna have a thuggish night with Debo. I promise you that.
We're really gonna go steal some chains.
Yeah, you ain't drinking no beer. You drinking liquor.
We're drinking Mickey 40s, Mickey
grenades, and you clubbing all night long with Debo, bro. But no,
my mama gave me that chain.
That's real. you ain't talking football with Debo. Debo ain't trying to talk football. He was like, man, listen, bro, you don't see that season I just had, bro. I'm trying to relax my mind. Let's talk something else, bro. But damn, this is a hard dude. That's another conversation, bro. Like, who else? Who can you put on that plateau with? What about Kelsey? I think Kelsey could get loose a little bit. He looked like that type.
Yeah, I'm slowly coming around on Kelsey.
Actually, you know who seems like a down to earth guy? Cup. Cooper Cup.
Yes. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
You know what? I know the answer here. I don't think there's a cooler guy than Matt Stafford.
Oh God.
Hey,
DJ knows how to piss me off. Let me tell you.
Hey, listen, Matt Stafford gonna let you hurt yourself and walk away. Be like, oh, bro, I ain't seen nothing.
Let you fall off that stage.
My bad, bro. Damn,
dude, I bet Brady's pretty cool when you have a couple beers on him. That's in all seriousness.
Yeah, we've seen that. He throws trophies and stuff in the water.
Yeah.
I'm not even giving Brady the time of day. Hey, you want to come have a beer with me? Nope, I don't.
Like, dude,
hey, Mike gonna spike Brady's drink. Mike be like,
okay, Mike, I'm going to throw out a scenario here because you're in sales and you go to trade shows and whatnot. Let's say the company you work for,
I can see
they get Brady in on a deal. And it's just like, hey, he's gonna be speaking at this thing, and because you work for this company, you could go meet him and get his autograph. What are you doing, Mike?
Mike gonna be spiteful and wear his 49er uniform out there.
Yeah. I'm gonna show up in my 49er hat and be like, "Nice to meet you."
Or he might be even more spiteful. Go out there and throw on the Michigan State jersey or Ohio State jersey on or something just for the hell of it.
And sit right there in front of him like this with his chest out, like, hey.
No, he gonna sit right next to him and be like, "What's up, Brady?"
Yeah, Mike's gonna go up to him and be like, "Montana's my favorite quarterback too," but his eyes are gonna be saying, "Fuck you."
Yep.
Mike be like, "Hey, Brady, you know Montana's the GOAT, right?" You know Montana's the GOAT,
I'm gonna
right?
get him on record and be like, you know what? Don't tell anyone this, but I agree with you. He is the GOAT. I'm second. Thank you.
You better film that, and then you would stop all arguments.
Brady himself calling himself the second to Montana.
Oh man.
Hey, you know that was a fumble against the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Hey, real talk. I wonder how many people actually, that he encountered that said that. Be like, hey, bro, come on, man, be honest, man. That was a fumble, wasn't it?
I'm sure he gets it all the time.
Speaking of that,
I'm pretty sure.
Did you know there's a 30 for 30 with Brady and Woodson?
Yeah,
watching that game and talking about it. That's a cool 30 for 30.
It was.
That's one of the funniest moments too. Is when they get to that point, because Charles tell him and Brady gets so uncomfortable, like we're not going to talk about it.
He kind of admits in there. That was a good 30 for 30 though.
It's like Montana admitting Rudy for he didn't like Rudy.
Man, that broke my heart. That episode of that documentary that broke my heart.
That took Montana down a notch for me. He'll always be below Young for that.
But isn't that what they say? Never meet your heroes.
Yeah,
they always assholes.
Yeah. I'd still want to meet Young one day.
Me too. I'm with you, TJ. Let's go.
That's my
Yeah,
boy,
inactive
man.
player,
You don't
that's
understand the love I
somebody.
have for that.
Listen, man, I couldn't because I wouldn't. All the questions I think I would know what to say, I'd be there stuttering.
Honestly, bro, listen, Steve Young, you do not interview Steve Young, bro. You just have a general conversation with that man. He would
Exactly.
he would pretty much spill the beans himself. You having a couple of drinks with him, so that's all you
And
gotta
you know
do.
what?
Just bring shit up.
You know what I love about Young is now he's talking about like his anxiety and bringing all this mental health aware. Like, God, I love Young. He's the best.
I like Young how he's involved in the team now. He's like really kind of invested in getting to know these young players and kind of giving advice to what he thinks needs to happen. And I like his involvement now.
Montana is not that involved, is he?
Montana is still my guy, but he has a lack of involvement with the team right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jerry's also another guy. Jerry's also another guy that's involved with the team as well.
Oh yeah, he's probably the most involved, I would say.
Oh yeah,
he seems to be.
He's all over.
I haven't heard of any defensive guy or anybody else besides Young and Jerry. I mean, have you guys heard about anybody else involved with the team?
Bryce Young seems to be stepping out a little more lately.
Staley's involved.
Is he?
Since his retirement, he's kind of staying in there and keeping an eye on things and advising some of the players and giving his opinions to the coaches.
This is how you know. This is how you know we are fans of a great organization, man. You got a guy, Takeo Spike, who played for the Bengals damn near his whole career, and he's reporting for the 49ers, and he's only played with us for like what, maybe 3 years, and he's reporting for us. I mean, he's still involved.
Yeah, you just have these organizations that treat players right. That's what always that's what everyone talks about with Eddie DeBartolo when he was the owner. I mean, he knew how to treat the players.
Gore's another one. Looking like he'll end up in the front office.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in the front office now?
It's being talked about. I don't think it's official yet, but yeah, I think he's going to end up there.
I know Aaron Rodgers.
After he's done boxing some dudes, he's going to come work in the front office.
I know Aaron Rodgers is a guy that would not be involved with the Packers as much.
Aaron Rodgers is going to fall off the face of the earth once he's done with the NFL.
He's going to join a hippie commune.
Yeah, he's going to go live in a cave somewhere and just grow his beard out.
I think he's going to be more on TV than anything.
Hey, it's going to be Mike's new favorite show. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers and Brady talking football.
Boy, can you imagine that?
I will never watch that show.
Can you imagine that?
Oh man, that's gonna be great next year when Brady's calling Niner games.
I'm gonna
oh my God, bro.
I'm gonna watch those games on mute.
Mike's gonna be like, "This is the worst broadcast I've ever heard."
I'm gonna be watching those games on mute. Actually, those are the games I'm gonna have to go to. That's how I'll pick my schedule to go to. I'll be like, whatever games on Fox that Brady's commentating, I'll have to be there live, so I have to hear it.
That's
on the radio broadcast.
Yeah, you can do that too. You know what? I'll put on the Spanish broadcast. I'd rather listen to the game in Spanish.
Yeah,
that's how I feel when it's Buck and Aikman.
Oh
it's
God,
like,
Buck is pure trash.
Aikman's gotten better. Aikman's not terrible, but Buck is trash.
I can tolerate
Aikman too serious.
Buck is just. I hate Buck.
Like you could hear Buck's pompous attitude when he speaks.
Yeah,
like that guy.
He thinks he's the guy. He's another guy that got into business thanks to his dad.
The best commentators of all time: John Madden, Pat Summerall.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Followed by Collinsworth, and who's with Collinsworth right now? Boomer.
Oh, it's Collinsworth and Tirico this year, but it was Collinsworth and Michaels for the past few years.
Okay, I like Collinsworth.
I like Romo.
I like Collinsworth too.
I like Romo.
Yeah,
Romo's
great.
actually not. Yeah, he's not bad.
No,
Actually,
I would say that's probably my favorite team is Nance and Romo.
Hey, Romo better on the mic than the field.
Oh yeah, 100%.
His cause is more legit.
Yeah, I think Fox is going to be hurting because isn't it going to be Burkhardt and probably Olsen? I've never really been impressed with Olsen as a play-by-play guy.
Talking about Greg Olsen.
Yeah,
I think he's moving into the number 1 spot.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough.
Then you said Laura Britt left and she's what with Amazon now?
No, Kay Adams left.
Kay Adams, right?
They haven't officially announced it, but they're saying that she's gonna be the sideline reporter for Amazon. Laura Britt went to the Giants baseball.
Ah.
But yeah, Amazon. Who's the commentating team for Amazon?
Herb Street and Michaels.
Okay, that could be decent.
I thought Aikman was taking that job.
No, Aikman and Buck went to ESPN Monday night.
Amazon was offered to Lynch, but he turned it down.
Yep. I think it's still on the table for him to do it whenever he decides or something.
You know who was good was Mayock's good. Like I watch all the Notre Dame games, and back when Mayock used to commentate, he was solid.
You know who else was trash back in the day was what was it? What's his name? The comedian. He's like super political. Dennis Miller. When he
oh my god!
Oh my god, that was trash.
And you could never understand what the hell he was talking about because he just used crazy references.
Yeah. Oh, that was such garbage.
You know who I would love to see calling NFL games, but I know that's never gonna happen. But as a team, Desmond Howard and Kirk Herbstreit together. I think that would be fun to watch. Calling actual NFL games. No,
Yeah.
You don't like that?
That might be.
I like Desmond on the pregame show.
Mm-hmm.
I like Desmond.
I mean, it's just like college is their thing. I just don't ever see them leaving, going to the NFL. But if they did, though, I mean, that would be a duel that I would enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Yo, so Mav, you know I was meaning to get to you. How was your convention, man?
Hot, overcrowded. Didn't get to see Undertaker. He never showed.
No.
I did get to see Katie Lotz. Never showed. I did get to see Flair.
Woo! Hey, Mike had me cracking up talking about this man about to wrestle.
Dude,
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't either till I looked it up after he said it, and I'm like,
bro, you ever said
man talking about he barely walking, but he about to wrestle. This is not good.
Listen, dude, you ever sat down so long and then as soon as you get up, you gotta hold your back and then do the little old people walk?
How he's walking around?
That was flat. When he got up, he washed his hands and everything, and then he turned around, walked off, and I see him do it like he could barely get around the curtain. Like, bro,
he got up like this. He said, help me, please. He's like,
versus Braun Strowman.
He's like,
bro, versus Braun Strowman, who was all the way across the other room, and he just walked past you like he running or something. He's just like, damn, been taking long strides, dude. Bro,
that guy had to be a monster,
like
right?
What?
Well, he's like what? Ain't he 7 foot?
He's something like that. I'm like, dude, that's a big ass log walking around, kid. Like that man too tall and too big. What makes
That's how it was when I met the Big Show, man. I seen dude at a distance. I still felt like he was close to me. I was like, bro, why are you so big? And it was like, man, I'm not even close to him yet. Why are you so big?
He's still 20 feet away.
Bro, like I told my son this morning, I'm like, dude, you supposed to be looking up to me, not the other way around. Why are you so damn tall and so big? Like, you make me feel like the child right now, kid. Like, it can't be happening. But
hey, Dad, you want me to get that off the top shelf for you?
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, for real.
Call him in there, Son, what's up? Get the cereal off the top of the refrigerator.
I don't feel like climbing on the counters. Can you just reach over there and grab that for me? Like, it'd be so funny when his mama ask him that. I'll be looking at them. I'll be like, thank God I ain't gotta go through all this, bro. Like,
Hey.
she don't went and bought her a stool.
I promise I got that fear right now, man. I'm looking at my kids and I'm like, I'm watching how they grow. And my son is 8. He already at the hip. And I'm like, so I'm trying to calculate years. Like, they slow down here. So if I get, he gonna pass me up, ain't he? It's cool.
Listen,
Knock him down the sides just because as soon as they pass me up, boom, I just want you to know I'm still dad.
Listen, it ain't even no fear, bro. It ain't even no fear. Now you questioning God. Be like, God, why you ain't bless me with no height? Why you feel me? Like, why you got that?
Hold on, but do you got tall parents? You got tall parents?
Well, actually, you know what? My whole family is like 6 foot and above, bro. Like, my mom is the only shortest in the family, and we got the genes from her. So it's 5 of us that's like below 6 foot, including my mom.
See, that's me. I'm mad because like I'm tall compared to some people. I'm 6'1". My mom was 5'10", my dad 6'6". I felt like I should have kept going and it didn't happen.
What up, man?
What's up?
I hit 5'9" in 8th grade, and then I never grew another inch.
You said 8th grade?
Yeah.
Listen,
oh my!
You ain't nothing but an inch taller, TJ. You ain't nothing but an inch taller than me, but I bet you we stand side by side. We the same height.
Yeah, I went from playing post in middle school basketball to not having any ball skills, and I had to quit playing ball in high school because I couldn't play the post anymore.
Hey,
that's crazy.
But,
he said 8th grade. I stopped,
but I did.
I think I stopped like 9th, 10th. That was it.
But I did get a very shockingly surprised when I walked past the original cast of the Power Rangers, like standing right there signing autographs, and I'm like,
"What a picture of that!"
I know.
What a picture of that.
Hey, was the red Power Ranger there? Because didn't he just get arrested for?
I saw that.
The Red Ranger. None of the Red Rangers was there. Tommy was not there. It's just I believe. It was one
the
Green
Power
Ranger
right there.
Exactly.
Green Ranger there?
Ain't nobody trying to see Kimberly. Ain't nobody trying to see Zach with his little dance and hip hop cute.
That was in the actual cast. The actual cast that was there. That was the second cast from the original Power Rangers. So like Jason, Tommy, Kimberly, none of them was there. The people.
Oh, so you talking about the Turbo Power Rangers Turbo?
It wasn't Turbo. It was still Mighty.
That's
Morphin.
like Rocky, and
that's what he talking about. He talking about
Aisha and all them. Aisha was there. Like I see. It was just like, bro. I'm sitting here. I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that is. That's a Power Ranger.
Mav was looking. Hey, Mav was looking at her like I always liked the Yellow Ranger.
I'm a frog. Does anyone remember that line?
Yes.
Frog.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yo, I made my kids watch that movie. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man.
Speaking of 90s TV, has anyone watched the Rescue Ranger movie yet on Disney?
Oh, that was so good.
What is it?
Oh my god.
Rescue Ranger?
Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus. It is the funniest movie.
It's on there right now?
Yeah, it's got so many references. That movie was made for old men like us.
It was
I'm gonna check that out.
The Lonely Island Boys are the ones that made it. So it's like super it's PG, but you can tell they wanted to go more than PG. And it's got such great 90s callbacks. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
But get on it after this podcast, fellas.
I ain't take no pictures for the simple fact, but it was so hot in there, dude. And we had been walking for hours. And then
I know I seen that original Batman car.
Yeah, but check this out though. When we actually seen them, right where that Batman car was, there was like 2 hours over on the back side of the wall. It's as if like you went to a restaurant and they put you by the bathroom type shit. You feel me? That's kind of how they was. So when we walking into that crowd, we walking with the crowd. But I'm not gonna stand there and just keep letting people bump into me like that. I'm excited to see them, but fuck that. I just kept moving.
Hey man, I always wanted to go to one of them for real. It's the Comic Con, and
they got one in Jacksonville coming up in October. What's up?
They do, and you said in October?
Yeah.
Have you checked that one?
Right there in Jacksonville, but my son say, "Fuck that, man. We going back in 2 years."
Hey, I got to head out, fellas. See ya tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I want to do the Halloween one too. You ever seen the Halloween one? And you walk through and they got like the best Halloween costumes and like the people made haunted houses that they make in there. It look dope.
Yeah.
Like that one, just because I like being a little scared, just going in there like, yo, go ahead, man, keep playing.
We picked up a few comic books for my son. That's his very first comic books ever. We picked up 2 Miss Marvels, the beginning and the end of her. So he's got a lot of catching up in between to do if he likes that movie. I mean, if he likes that comic book.
Hey man, you ain't getting no Spawn comics. You know you got started with the McFarlane Spawn comics.
He got Spider-Man. They was all $2 comics too, bro. Like look clean. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think he probably. I ain't gonna worry about it. I'll show it to y'all tomorrow. But I met a lot of freelance artists out there that have worked for Marvel and DC. They got their own little special comics out there. I mean, dude, if you go to one of them things and you plan on spending, you need to at least have two grand in your pocket. Like, so serious.
Dang.
Bro, in 5 minutes I spent like 300.
He said in 5 minutes.
I'm telling you, bro. After that was done, bro.
That's because you bought that Niners poster that nobody knew if it was Steve Young or Roger Craig.
Bro, listen, I looked at the guy. I'm like, man, that's not no white dude, but that's a black dude. Who the hell is that? Like for real.
I'm pretty sure that's Roger Craig. No, it's Steve Young. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because bro, I was like, man, that cannot be no damn Young, bro. I'm sorry, but that is not Steve Young, bro. I'm like, I see 3 black dudes on this poster and 1 white dude, and that's the quarterback.
Oh shoot!
Now, if we take Joe Montana out of there and put not Barry, but Deion Sanders, then you got the black 49ers Rushmore right there all day long. I'll take that.
Hey,
tell me you won't take that. Tell me you won't take that.
They'll highlight all of them, but when they count Rushmore, they count your MVPs and your Super Bowl stars.
No, let's just say you taking out Joe Money and you just doing nothing but black 49er players. I think those 3 and Deion Sanders sets it off. Come on.
Hey, make the poster then. Make the poster. No, Nick has made me sad. He's made me sad and called me a fake fan and talked about me. He hurt my feelings.
Hold on. I was following the show for a little bit earlier, and I know not to say the name, so we won't say the name. We'll just say 10 if we ever reference to him. All right, fellas? Say 10.
Never mention that name again because it gets me in trouble and motherfuckers be balling out on my ass.
Hey, I'm talking about. I see Nick pull up that jersey. Be like, look, I got a Trey Lance jersey on now, people. Y'all stop. I'm not a hater. Goddamn. I'm like,
yeah, but apparently it's fake, and it's a Chinese knockoff. It isn't. I actually spent $160 to get that jersey over to here in England, but I'm still a hater, and I got some heat this morning. I logged back onto Twitter and. The person who I referred to in the show yesterday, Teddy, said that I was personally abusing him and attacking him, and I didn't give him the chance to reply, where I actually did invite him on the show, and he didn't want to. So, what can you do?
Is he a Niners fan?
Absolutely.
Jets fan. I thought he was Jets fan.
No, not the ex-Jets.
Okay,
guy.
I got you. Okay.
I'm talking Teddy H6, I think. Ted H6 is his Twitter handle, and he's a Niners fan. But yeah, he got on his high horse and said that I'd been attacking him without any redress. Because he thinks he's the guy that thinks Trey's going to win 2 rings in 4 years, which I think is frankly ridiculous. And
that's a lot of pressure.
yeah, just a bit. And yeah, What else can I say? You didn't like the fact that I called him out on it.
I mean,
can't,
two
you know.
rings, 2 rings in 4 years for first year player, really, not even a second year player, first year. And that's
I mean, that's his rookie deal, right? And apparently, my argument as well was that if no one cut 10 any slack because the defense was bailing him out on occasions, and if it happens next year and the defense bail out Trey Lance, surely that should be the same, but apparently not. Silence in the room says it all.
Honestly, though, I really don't see how you can be a hater when you are a fan of a team and you're just giving your opinion about certain players that are on the team that you feel that's not helping. I mean, that's your own opinion about it.
The main problem was and it all stemmed from the Texans game. The first half, and I said it again yesterday, in the first half of that Texans game, he wasn't good. He had happy feet. He was overthrowing, putting too much velocity on it, got intercepted, etc. And then he came out in the second half and he was a lot better. He was a lot better and showed the promise that everybody would like to see. Sorry, seagulls are flying overhead. Sorry about that. He showed a lot of promise, but he's not the finished article. He's not. And I said yesterday on the show, and Ryan will back me up. If we win 8 games this year, I'll be happy because it's progression for him. Because he's a new kid on the block, and if we win more than 8, I'll be ecstatic. If we win 8, I'll be happy. But everyone's got to pump the brakes and just lower their expectations on this kid and not put too much pressure on him. And I've seen 12 wins, I've seen 14 wins, I've seen. It's ridiculous.
I think 14 is reasonable. We're one of the people that put about 12, 14 on him as well. But
Ryan
puzzling me. Oh yeah. So Ryan, you need to get on Ryan if you're talking about ridiculous. I mean, he's going undefeated.
Yeah, but Ryan like me. I mean, I'm a homer, and I know Ryan is, but I've lowered the bar on my expectations, and if the expectations are better than I think, then everyone's going to be happy, right? It's not and I don't like projecting how many games we're going to win. So I kind of set the bar low to be happy if we get more than that. But, and I did, as Ryan knows, I did ask that former Jet scout or intern scout to come on the show and put his side across, because I didn't want it to be one-sided, and he politely declined. And I get it, because if you have someone like that on there and people see he's on there, they're just going to flame him. And I warn people beforehand, if anyone is disrespectful or swears at that guy, I'll just kick him out the show, because I wanted to hear his reasons why. Because I am interested in why he thinks. I don't think he's going to be a bust, Trey Lance. I honestly don't think that. But this guy, obviously, for whatever reasons, thinks he's going to be. And I wanted to hear why he thought that. It's all well and good, all us praising him up, because we're all 49er fans. But, I wanted to hear that alternate reasons why, and unfortunately he didn't want to come on, which was sad, because I would have liked to have heard his side of the story.
Yeah, Mikey, you wanted to say what you were going to say?
I forgot now. Oh no, I'm gonna love to see my backtrack and see what he says in a couple of years after Lance does better than he thinks. But that guy's in there for the clickbait.
Okay, Drew, if you want to head out, buddy, go ahead, buddy. Okay, let me see here. I guess, hey, Mav, you good?
I got to head out myself.
You head out, Mikey? Okay, man. Hey, man.
All right. See you guys.
Right. See you guys, man. See you tomorrow.
Yep.
So, Nick, what's been going on, man?
Yeah, I've been at English Premier League game today for my team, Brighton and Hove Albion. They won 3-1, last game of the season. So yeah, I've just been at that really, and I haven't been back long, but I thought I'd just jump on and say hi to the guys.
No problem. No problem.
And yeah, all good.
No problem at all. I know you don't want to go through the season schedule because I know you just want to pop in.
Yeah,
I
know it's fine. If you want to read it out to me, and I will give you my.
Actually, I'll do something better for you. I'll show you the schedule real quick. That way you have it. Right. Mav, if you want to go, you can go, but if it's up to you, if you want to stay.
No, I'll go ahead and listen real quick. We'll all head out together.
I got you. Here you go, Nick. Do your thing, man. Can you read that?
I can't because I'm on my phone and it's not.
It's so small, right?
All right. So week one, you got the Bears at Chicago.
Win.
You got the Seahawks. You got Broncos.
Seahawks or at Levi's. Sorry, is that Levi?
Yeah, it's at Levi's.
Right. It's at Levi's.
Is it a home game?
Yeah, it's a home game. It's a home game against Seahawks.
I'll go win. Broncos loss. Next one.
The
Rams at Levi's.
Win.
Carolina Panthers at the East Coast run from Panthers and
Depends. If 10 is there, loss. If he isn't, W. Because I can just see him coming to haunt us somehow. What's the next one?
Falcons.
Falcons. Win.
Then we come back home for a big stretch. So, Chiefs.
Loss.
Okay. Rams at their house.
Loss.
So that's before the bye week. So that's before the bye week. You at what? 5 wins and 3 losses?
Yeah, something like that. Probably. Yeah.
5 and 3. 5 and 3.
Win over the Bears, Seahawks. Loss to the Broncos. Win against the Rams. You say? And it's a toss-up
win at
for
home.
Panthers.
Panthers, depending on who's there, but I'll go for a W. Yeah.
Okay. And so 5 and 3 with the Falcons with a win and loss to the Chiefs. Oh, yeah, and a win to the Rams, right? Or was that a loss?
No, that at their place that was a loss.
Okay.
So what's the next one?
Next one will be Chargers after the bye week. At Levi's.
Win.
Okay. Then we go to Cardinals.
We go to Mexico.
That's Mexico. I'm sorry. My bad. That was Mexico.
I'm going to say loss.
Okay. Then we go back to Levi's against Saints.
Well, I'm going to be at that game, and I'm going to be at the Finns game, so they better give me 2 W's while I'm out there.
Okay, so you're at 4. You're at 4-1 right now after the bye.
Okay, then we got Dolphins at home.
Win.
Okay.
Win.
The Buccaneers at home.
That's a tough one. Loss.
Oh yeah, let's lose against Tom Brady.
5 and 2.
And then we got Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. At their house.
Loss.
At their house. Okay.
Loss.
Then we Commanders at home.
5 and 3.
W.
And the Raiders at their house.
W.
And then the Cardinals, Van Alley, or at Levi's.
And that's the last game of the regular season, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I will go with a W there as well. So what's my overall prediction after I've just gone through all that?
You only got us losing 6 to 7 games.
So that would be what? 10 and 7? 10 and 7.
No. Yeah, 10 and 7.
10 and 7 and 10 and 6.
10 and 7, 11 and 6.
Yeah.
So I've just broken my thing of saying we were only going to have 8 wins, but there's a few. There are a few games on the schedule that could be a push. The Raiders possibly. I think we're going to split in division. I think we'll split all those games. So
Washington has been tough against us too. Even if we pull out the win, they play us tough.
We remember the Mud Bowl, right, with Nick Bosa and the whole defense sliding across that field.
Yeah, we do.
It's yeah. I mean, I could
and that was in
quite
Washington.
easily. It was, and I could, I don't want to be a homer about it, right? I want to try and be objective, but I do think we because I don't care who it is, Seattle, even if it is Geno Washington or Drew Lock or whoever it is, the sea chickens will always play us hard, the same as the Rams will, the same as Arizona will. They'll always play us hard. And, we split a lot of those games. We split the series. So, instead of having 6 wins, you've got to take 3 if you can get them, really. But it's, it's going to be an interesting season. As I say, I've tempered my thing at 8. I know I've just predicted 10, but I've tempered it at 8. And if we get 10, then I'll be happy. But I don't think we should build the kid up too much. That's my point. I don't honestly think we should build him up to the point where he's the next Joe or Steve. Because he could end up like Elvis Gerback. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
We all know it. Or Tim Rattay or whoever.
Oh, God.
J.C. O'Sullivan. Sean
wow.
Hill, whoever.
As long as you don't say Cromartie, we good.
I'll never say that.
Okay.
But I just, and I am going to, I've got to temper my expectations because I don't want to get that hyped up and join the hype train only to be disappointed.
Well, the thing is, we are tied 5th for the easiest schedule coming up next season. And if you can see 10 to 11 win, I think it's easy. You can see 14 as well.
But then a lot of things have to fall into place, right? And that's where I think we were lucky with number 10 because we got hot at the right time. And I still think, we were an interception away from beating the Rams, right? And I'm not bashing on Tart because he was the one that dropped the interception, wasn't he? I think it was Tart that dropped. And we could have won that game.
See, a lot of people are looking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, carry on.
I was just gonna say a lot of people are looking at the first half of the season the first half of the schedule really to be like the hardest, and then the easiest is like the back end. Me, I look at the front half of the schedule to be the easiest. Like I'm looking at 2 wins against the Rams. The Panthers, I don't see whoever's at the helm at quarterback, and they still gonna lose. Falcons, that should be an easy win, but can't ever really go in there like that. Honestly, I'm looking at us losing 1 to 2 games. If we don't split with the Rams, we lose one of those, but we definitely losing to KC or the Broncos. We're not losing both.
Broncos have definitely obviously upgraded with Russie Wussy as quarterback.
They did.
But they were a good, they got a good defense, they got good receivers, the running game's not bad. I think that is going to be a tough assignment for any team, let alone just us.
For us, though, I feel like the Broncos would have been more of a threat if they were to play us in like week 6, maybe week 7. Because then by that time, Russell Wilson would have plenty of time to get that chemistry going like he needs to consistently versus still trying to figure the team out for the first 3 weeks.
But that Cornball has had everyone on the field secretly and he's working shit out. He's already done that because that's what he does. And he is the 49ers killer. Has been for years. And, you go, I don't know how many years we thought we were going to go in there and win, and we've stunk the place out, especially going to Lumenfield or whatever that dump's called. And he is a factor, and he does get. I honestly think he gets under our coach's skin, just like he's our kryptonite, and I can see him coming out and doing what Russell does.
And that's why I asked the question about that specific game. Are we going to game plan for Russell Wilson, or are we game planning for the Denver Broncos? I mean, those are two different game plans. You can't.
I think you'll see a bit like the Niners, because obviously we know it's going to be a different offensive plan with Trey at the controls. And I think you'll see a different Russell Wilson, because he's got a half-decent offensive line. I mean, he never, ever had a decent line, did he, in Seattle? Hardly ever. I mean, your party was there when he left the Niners. He carried that team on his own. And even with DK Metcalf and I can't think of the other guy, the other side, he was still making plays behind a shitty line. He's got a decent line now, so he can be the passer that he wanted to be and not the scrambler that he's had to be. So it's going to be an interest. I think Denver could be dark horses this year. I really do.
And that's why I believe that it probably won't happen until like maybe week 5 that you actually see them clicking on all cylinders versus like, oh, I got lucky week 1 or we got lucky week 2. And, now the 49ers are in town. I think the 49ers are honestly, that game, I think, is a really big test for both teams. Are the 49ers still the same 49ers when it comes to facing Russell Wilson? Or is Russell Wilson a different quarterback now that he's with somebody else?
I honestly think he'll be different. And that's the thing, that's the unknown, right? That's and I think a lot of people who ever play Denver are going to see a different Russell Wilson, because everyone will think, oh yeah, he's still going to scramble around, he's going to buy time, he's going to do this, going to do that. But if he's got a decent line and he has got decent receivers there, you're going to see a different player. The same as, and like you said, like the 6 weeks through the season, people aren't going to know what to expect from Trey Lance. And that's, again, another plus point for the Niners, because people won't know. So, yeah, stack what you can in the first 6 weeks until the defensive coordinators and the scouts and that are in the stands see what he does. And that's the thing, a bit like Kaepernick, and I don't want to compare him to Kaepernick, so I don't think I am, but once people worked out Kaepernick, he became very ordinary, and we can't have the same scenario with Trey. That can't happen. And I think they are two different players, but once the DCs had worked out Kaepernick's shortcomings, if you like, after a couple of seasons, he then was just ordinary, and we can't have that. We can't. And I don't care that we spent all those first-round picks on him. That's not the issue. The issue is we can't have the Kaepernick Mark II, and a lot of people are comparing him to that.
I believe what happened with Kaepernick was not because of he was just being figured out. I mean, it has something to do with it, but I think it was more so, I believe for me, was Jim Harbaugh was trying to make him more traditional before teams actually figured him out. But with the fact that he's been pitching his whole life, it was hard for his mechanics to quickly transpire into what he really needed to be. So you really couldn't make Kaepernick a traditional quarterback. He had to use his legs. He just had to.
My only thing with that is, and I get what you're saying, but I never saw Harbaugh trying to mold him into something that he couldn't be or didn't want to be. Because when he came in for Alex Smith, when he got concussed or whatever it was, I mean, everyone will agree he lit up the league. He came in that game, and then obviously he made Green Bay Packers look stupid twice, and I still love watching that game, because even I still don't see the hand, the RPOs and whatever it is, and all of a sudden Kaepernick streaking down the field, and it was ridiculous. I mean, your expectations for Lance, right? Is he a passing QB or is he a
Running QB? Oh,
QB?
Trey Lance,
First thing.
Trey Lance is a pass first QB. I see him looking for the pass before he takes. He only takes off if he has to, unless the players.
The big criticism, if you like, or not, was in the Arizona game. And I know people that were there, and the receivers weren't getting separation, and we were getting a lot of holding calls on the line and stuff. And he was pulling the ball when he didn't need to. And that's, and yeah, growing pains. I get all that. But you can't have him doing that now.
I had a discussion about that specific game with a friend of mine. And one thing we both agreed on was the fact that Shannon Kyle dummied down the playbook for Lance. It was a lot of running plays, tuck it and run. Like it was barely any passing in there. And we argued at that fact because I told him, why couldn't Trey do the same exact thing like number 10 was doing? The same damn quarterback right now, if you think about it, essentially a rookie versus a vet that still plays like a rookie. They're the same damn quarterback. There's no big difference at this moment. So to me, that playbook was really, really light. Trey Lance was not put in the right situation for success at that point, at that game. And another thing that kills me, that they should have already had Trey Lance in practice mode the minute Jimmy got injured, instead of sitting here waiting to see if he's going to give it a go or not. No, you should have already had him going, had plays running for him. I mean, that's partially on the 49ers' fault as well. So I can't blame Trey Lance.
Absolutely 100% agree with that. If they knew that Jimmy was going to be, and his arm got worse and his elbow and this, that, and his thumb and whatever, they should have been not scout team, but he should have been. And if Jimmy can't practice, because everyone knows, right? If your star QB, if you want to call 10 a star, your starter, sorry, if he sits out practice, it's no biggie because he knows the playbook. He knows the plays. He knows what to call. He knows this. He knows that. So he could have sat on the sidelines and Trey could have took all the first team reps and it wouldn't have done any harm to Trey or Jimmy for Trey to take those plays.
Yeah.
And that was just ridiculous that he didn't. And I'll never understand why, when they had the chance to do that, they didn't. Why is Jimmy practicing 70, 60, whatever percent? Why is he out there? What was the point? He knows the plays.
Yeah.
Why put someone out there? And I agree. You should have had Trey should have been out there doing.
I called that game to be the Trey Lance takeover game. And regardless on how the game was played, regardless on all the arguments we come up with for why it didn't go the way it's supposed to went, at the end of the day, Trey Lance and the 49ers still had a chance to win that game. We still had a chance to win that game.
So I asked this question yesterday. Why was Jimmy still rolled out at 60% when Trey's there 100% ready to go? Makes no sense.
It really doesn't. And in that same game, you get your future hurt. That very same game. Now you got two injured quarterback that's supposed to be 1 and 2. And yet you still don't have your third or your emergency backup ready to take over if none of them can go. Now again, like you said, 60% Jimmy, and you still throw him back out there to the Wolves. It made no sense to me.
No, it made no sense. And even I can't remember what game it was, and I was calling for Jimmy to be benched because he was stinking the place up.
Tennessee.
There you go. And Trey was there. He was on the sideline. He's ready. It was awful. Yet he still doesn't get put in, and I don't get why Kyle is so fixated with Jimmy. And it still wouldn't surprise me if Jimmy's here as the backup. It really wouldn't.
I am so glad that we didn't go to the Super Bowl for the simple fact that could you imagine this headline? Trey Lance takes over in the Houston game. Then he goes on and beat the Rams. Then come on. Then who did the Rams play first? Well, it don't matter. Then he goes on to win the next 2 rounds of the playoff, and now he's in the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl. Could you imagine the headline that he didn't do it, that Jimmy got us there?
But they're always going to say that. And the other thing as well that I will bring up is stats isn't QB wins with a Z aren't stats. Are we taking receipts next year if Trey does play well but doesn't get us over the hump and it's the defense and special teams? Are people then going to say, well, Trey won because he was at the helm 14 games, even though he maybe only helped us win 6? You know, it's all subjective.
I'll tell you one stat that's going to really, really matter right now. And if you take a look at the points we put up on average per game last year versus what's coming up, that tells you how much of a difference the offense has changed. Because if we're putting up the same damn points average, then we really didn't change that much. We might look good, but we still not putting up points. We're still not getting into that high-powered offense step. So that is a big thing to look for.
Points per game is definitely a stat that you got to look at, because if you consider what he... No, I didn't hear fuck off. Sorry, I'm just having a private conversation. Yeah, points per game, you know, if you can get up around the 30, there's a very good chance you're going to win. And if that's what Trey does and the defense does, then you've got a very, very good chance of winning games. Because you obviously, certain teams are going to put up 26, 27 points, and you need to be at the 30, 35 scenario, right? So that's quite important.
I mean, if we're putting up 35 points a game week in and week out, that's a big, big jump from the offense we've had. Like, that shows you that we're moving in the right direction as far as
I didn't actually specify offense. I was just generalizing, because defense and special teams might actually come to the party for a change, because they haven't recently. But
I mean,
you know, that's the thing is, you need to get every game, if you can, depending on situations, at least 27.
But I think that's about what we put up last year, though, right? Close to what, 21 points a game? Was that what it was?
Yeah, it wasn't that big, I don't think.
Yeah, see, so if we're averaging about 17 to 21 points a game with Jimmy G, and we can average from 21 to 35 with Trey, that's what, 2 touchdown difference. I like that. Just offense alone, and defense, and I'm pretty sure defense will if offense is putting up that many points, I'm pretty sure defense is gonna shut everybody down, or at least try to. Because there's no way they're gonna let their offense put up that many points on them this year. I refuse to believe that.
Sorry.
No,
Someone, my landlady couldn't find her phone and wanted me to ring it, even though it was like there. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't. You know, everyone says defense wins championships. But that's not strictly true throughout history because the Chiefs lit it up with Mahomes. And I still think they're going to even though they've lost Tyreek Hill. But I think our strength for next year could be the defensive play. And just bring Trey in and just, he plays this year, plays well, gets us over the line. But, we need to rely on that defense, I think, to take some of the heat off of everything.
So you don't think the defense had enough work last year?
No, they did, but we fell short. We fell short because of one play. And who knows what would have happened if whoever was QB would have got us where we were. I'm glad, and I know people still are pissed off that we negate the secondary and we build a good defensive line, and that new Drake Jackson is going to be a beast. And I've got to get I'm buying, that's the next jersey I'm buying a 95 because I think he's going to be amazing. And you got Kinlaw coming back, and we could be a powerhouse because yet again we've done defensive line and sort of half-assed the secondary and hoping that we're going to get pressure. I know we signed the Kansas City guy. We bought Verrett back, but it's still questionable. We need that. We're built on getting pressure and hopefully getting interceptions and stuff and sacks because of the defensive line. Not worry, we need to worry about the back end, I think, and we still haven't really addressed that.
I think we'll be good. I really believe we'll be okay, and we've addressed it. I think through free agency, and we can still address it through the first 6-7 weeks of the season as well too. So I mean, we got time. We just need to see what we have back there.
But I just don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too simplistic with all of it, but
you was
every year in the draft. We get defensive linemen every year, without fail. And I love that because you do get, Kinlaw, this is a massive season for Kinlaw. Massive, huge. And I think he'll ball out. And I also think, and I was talking, I can't remember who it was. And so, salary cap, this, that, and the other. We will cut a defensive lineman and keep 10 on the roster. That's my prediction. As a backup.
It's we gotta see. We'll see it. I still don't know how many we're gonna keep. I have to look at the history of what we've done in the past. Because I think
we've probably got about 35 linemen now, right?
Something like that. Because I know we got 90 players on the team right now.
It's ridiculous. But that line, we've got such a great rotation, and then you add 95, and I'm looking for when and I sort of mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, when you put these people together and you've got Kaserik as the lineman, he's like a Churchill or he's like an Eisenhower. These people will go over the top for that guy because he's everything that you want everyone to be, and I'm so pumped that we still managed to keep him because I'm surprised we did, to be honest.
Right.
I'm not saying he's head coach material, but obviously you got McDaniel went, and a lot of our front office.
He's not going to be. I don't see him being a head coach no time soon. If he does,
but
then
can you see him being a DC though? Because he's got that mentality, right?
Yeah. I could see him being one of the top DCs in the league coming, moving forward. But head coach,
No, I don't think he'll be a head coach. Sorry, I was saying I think he will be a good DC.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if we keep him, because I think if D'Amico Ryans has another good season, I think people are going to be sniffing around him. And maybe then, if that is the case and he goes, we move Kaserik up to DC possibly.
Right.
But it's
What,
going to be
fellas?
interesting. I've got to go because it's, I don't know what time it is. It's 10
Yeah, I'm
to 10
finna
in
head
the
out
UK.
too. I got a house full right now. I hear the people out there.
Enjoy your Sunday,
I'm gonna-
guys. All right. Enjoy your Sunday.
Take
It was
care.
nice talking to you, Nick.
Thanks for
Talk to
coming
you
in,
next
Nick.
time, brother.
All right, there, man.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, man.
Take care. See ya.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully I can jump on the next show.
Cool. Okay.
All right.
Cool, man. All right. I want to do this real quick before I head off, before I do my plugs and stuff. I know people probably watched the last show that we had about the schedule, and I want to explain the reason why I think we have a good chance. We have a good chance to go undefeated, because I was actually going over the schedule all the time in my head. If you think about it, easy win against the Bears. Then we go back home against the Seacocks. All right. Then we travel to the west, just to the west, against the Broncos. Okay. I know we can beat freaking Fussy Wussy. I'm not afraid of the Broncos. I'm not. I'm just not. If we have, like I said in the beginning of our show, the last show we had about the schedule, if we're fully healthy, no COVID stuff happens, which would be great, because that's what killed us in 2020. It did. If you agree, it's true. So COVID really killed us. The whole schedule we had that year, and injuries. The injuries kept on piling up. So I know we could beat the Broncos, which I know everybody's saying that could be our first test. But I know we could beat them. In my heart, I know we can. So we go back home against the Rams. I know we can beat them, because I'm not afraid of Stafford. I mean, it's just the way I feel about him. And not because I'm a Niner fan and I'm fully faithful, but basically the East Coast travel, that's going to be the test for us, because we have to travel all the way across the East. Thank God we had the Panthers and the Falcons together. Thank God the NFL was able to do that for us, put both them games together, which I'm glad they did. Because that way we just do them both games, come back home, and we stay on the West Coast for the rest of the season. That's what I love about it. So basically for the rest of the games, I know we can inch them out, be wins. The biggest game I see so far is the Buck game against Tom Brady. I would love to beat Tom Brady. Love to. I know Mikey said that his trap game is Washington Commanders. I probably agree on that. If we're on a big streak, I agree on that to a certain extent. But me, I think if we do lose one out of those last three games, it'll be Commanders. I know we can beat the Raiders. I know we can beat the finale against the Cardinals. So me, undefeated streak all the way, because I love the way it travels from Buccaneers to the Thursday night game against the Seacocks. We stay on the West Coast. We don't even have to travel that far even for it. So that's my give and take for the schedule. So I just want to put that out there. All right. So we're back here to me. I want to put my guys. I want to thank all of them coming in here. Of course, I'm talking from Mav. Okay, see if I get them all names right. Now I got a lot of names. I got kids in the background screaming. Got Mav, Ron, Mikey, Drew, and TJ. All right, give you all shout outs. Thanks, guys, for doing your stuff. Dan, I want to thank definitely UK, of course, Nick Welsh for coming here and doing this thing. Paul would have shown up. He had obligations with his family, but it's all good. Time comes first to me all the time. He knows that. So I know Ashley hadn't been on in a while, so he has other stuff to go also. So, but thanks a lot, Nick Cork, for coming in here and doing your thing, man. That guy you came in here just in time, man. Thank you. So, give a plug out to Mav's show, The Convo with Mav and Kato. That's his Twitter handle. Follow him on that Twitter handle. And his show is on 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Tuesday nights on YouTube. Okay. And of course, here is Coach Ron. All right, that Niner Life at Ron E Niner. I'm so used to saying the other way. So that's Ron's Twitter handle. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, only on Thursday nights on YouTube. All right. And of course, upcoming soon, Bias D from Drew. Bias Drew. All right, it's his handle. He's coming soon to his new show he has. All right. And of course, I want to give a special shout out to Paul Hope. That's his Twitter handle. And plus, a Twitter handle for the 49er Faithful UK. That's how you follow them. All right. They're very cool guys. And of course, last but not least, my man Nick Cork at the Shank Club NFL. That's his Twitter handle, Wingwich and 49ers. All right. You can catch him at 14:30 p.m. UK time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. Only on Saturday mornings, all right, or Saturdays on YouTube. All right. So, as I got to take care of some kid stuff, I thank you for watching it. All right. And I'll do my last plug. I'm all out of here. All right. Keep the faith. Never lose hope, guys. We're out here. Later. Yeah.